Chapter 1898. Master the Skill 4. Chapter 1898. Master the Skill 4. She remembered clearly that she had killed Zhuo Qingxian by stabbing him in the back of his neck. But why was Zhuo Qingxian here now? Zhuo Qingxian stared back at her. "You want me dead, don't you? Ha ha ha. Feng Wu, you didn't know that I had a substitute talisman, did you?" Zhuo Qingxian stared at Feng Wu. "Since you didn't kill me, it's your turn to die." After that, he drew out the long sword from behind him. He then activated his spiritual essence and struck at Feng Wu. Feng Wu felt so frustrated. What a pity. She should have destroyed Zhuo Qingxian's corpse when she had the chance. That way, even with the substitute talisman, he couldn't be resuscitated. That taught Feng Wu a lesson. Rumble. Zhuo Qingxian hated Feng Wu to the bone. Purple light wrapped around his sword, and his spiritual essence surged like a tidal wave. Die! Zhuo Qingxian wouldn't give Feng Wu any chance. He used his most powerful skill right away. Zhuo Qingxian was a spiritual lord, and Feng Wu was only a spiritual elder. There was no way she could withstand him. Feng Wu wanted to flee, but Zhuo Qingxian had obviously expected it. Thus, his sword moved so fast, it was like a net had been woven around Feng Wu. Feng Wu was trapped. She frowned. Since she couldn't get away, she had to face him. The chance of her surviving was less than 1%. Ground control. Feng Wu used the 6 stances she had just learned. She spared no effort and activated all her spiritual energy. Fallen Star swordplay. Phoenix dance. She was using all the skills she knew. She had to fend him off, or she would be doomed. Thump, thump, thump. While Feng Wu was doing everything she could, Zhuo Qingxian smirked. "You're as petty as an ant. Who gave you the courage to face me?" Zhuo Qingxian sneered at her. Die! Zhuo Qingxian aimed his sword at Feng Wu's throat and charged at her like a streak of lightning. He was going to kill her with this strike. Crack! Feng Wu's protective shield looked like glass in comparison. The next second, it completely shattered. Crack! Her shield was gone. Die now! Zhuo Qingxian guffawed, sending his sword further forward. Feng Wu was immediately under a lot of pressure. She watched as the malicious sword came at her throat. It was getting closer and closer. 3 inches, 2 inches, 1 inch. It was about to cut her skin open, but there was nothing she could do. How does it feel to be so close to death? Zhuo Qingxian asked in a mocking tone. He felt very proud of himself. If he wanted to kill Feng Wu right away, all he needed to do was push his sword a little further. But now, he was enjoying the moment. Just then, whoosh, a sword pierced Zhuo Qingxian from behind. Its speed was unbelievable. Even Zhuo Qingxian didn't have time to react. It was obviously a sword master, because the strike was accurate and fierce. Chapter 1899. Master the Skill 5. Chapter 1899. Master the Skill 5. Zhuo Qingxian turned around and saw a teenager behind him. It was a handsome young man with big bright eyes. The others were used to seeing his smiling face, but the look on his face was very serious now. Feng Sun. Blood poured out of Zhuo Qingxian's mouth. He stared at Feng Sun in disbelief. He had never thought Feng Sun would kill him. How dare he? Zhuo Qingxian wasn't the only one who was shocked. The second prince hadn't seen it coming either. "You!" Both men cried out in unison. Feng Sun then drew back his sword. "My purple sun sword has yet to taste blood, and you just offered yourself to me. Good." Feng Sun stared at Zhuo Qingxian with a murderous look in his eyes. The purple sun was unbelievably sharp, and it pierced Zhuo Qingxian's heart from behind. Once Feng Sun pulled it out, blood covered Zhuo Qingxian's chest. "Why are you doing this?" He stared at Feng Sun in disbelief. "Why do you think?" "Because you tried to kill Feng Wu, obviously." Feng Sun found the question idiotic. "Do you know who she is?" "Who is she?" "She's my sister," Feng Sun said coldly. The others only knew him as the lively and easygoing teenager, but when he stopped smiling, he was as intimidating as Jun Lin Yuan. "Aren't you afraid of my family?" Zhuo Qingxian pressed a hand to his chest. Feng Sun had planned to kill him from the very beginning. He had made sure that the sword would go through Zhuo Qingxian's heart. Zhuo Qingxian knew that he was going to die. No one could save him now. Feng Sun said decisively, "I'll worry about your family later. You wanted to kill Xiao Wu, so I had to kill you first." Zhuo Qingxian held his chest and kept coughing out blood. He couldn't understand it. Feng Wu and Feng Sun weren't real siblings, so why did he do this for Feng Wu? Why would he offend his family for her? But he wouldn't know the answer in this lifetime. Just then, two more people charged in through the gap Feng Wu had torn open. It was Ranmil and Sapphiro. Ranmil immediately saw Zhuo Qingxian, who had dropped dead on the ground. In front of the teenagers, Ranmil put her innocent mask back on. She looked frightened and completely baffled. What happened? Young Master Zhuo. While she was pretending to be frightened, Ranmil didn't stop looking around the place to figure out the current situation. Zhuo Qingxian held a sword in his right hand and had a resentful look on his face. Blood dripped from the purple sun sword in Feng Sun's hand. The blood drops tainted the ground. What more was there to say? Ranmil could tell that Feng Sun had killed Zhuo Qingxian. Feng Wu narrowed her eyes when she saw Ranmil. Ranmil narrowed her eyes as well. They looked like two hunters running into each other in a dark wood, and both had raised their guns. The second prince was confronting Feng Sun, and they could break into a fight at any moment. Just then, Chapter 1900, Chapter 1900. Chapter 1900, Master the Skill, 6. They heard steady footsteps coming in their direction. As soon as the teenager showed up, things turned around. Because it was Jun Linyuan. He seemed to carry 1,000 beams of light with him, and was so splendid that everyone else was merely part of the background. He was the one blessed with all merits. Boss Jun. Seeing Jun Linyuan, Feng Sun, who had raised his guard and was combat-ready, immediately switched to his usual mode. He ran toward Jun Linyuan like a happy puppy. "Boss Jun, I killed Zhuo Qingxian." He had killed Zhuo Qingxian without giving it much thought. Once his rage subsided, he became a little scared. After all, offending one of the 9 major clans would bring him a lot of trouble. Feng Sun was still wondering what to do when Jun Linyuan showed up like a savior. "Boss Jun! Boss Jun!" Feng Sun ran toward him and yelled, "I killed Zhuo Qingxian. What should I do now?" Jun Linyuan wasn't alone. The mysterious steward Feng was with him as usual. As soon as Jun Linyuan stopped moving, Feng took out an armchair out of nowhere and put it behind Jun Linyuan. Once the crown prince sat down, Feng handed him a warm towel. Jun Linyuan took the towel and slowly wiped each finger in turn. His fingers were well-proportioned and as fair as white jade. From the very beginning, Jun Linyuan never gave anyone else a look. He ignored them all. But the others had no problem with his demeanor, as if they expected he would be like this. Once the crown prince elegantly wiped his hands clean, he tossed it back to Feng, his face still emotionless. Only then did he look up. He glanced at each face in turn. No one dared to meet his intense gaze. Sapphiro wasn't bold enough. Nor was Ranmil. Even the second prince, who was openly against Jun Linyuan, couldn't withstand his gaze. The teenager looked completely unapproachable. How terrifying. Jun Linyuan's arrival made the others completely forget how tense the atmosphere had been earlier. They didn't even dare breathe heavily, let alone speak. "You killed him." The crown prince was as proud as the emperor himself. As soon as he spoke, the temperature seemed to drop. Feng Sun had grown up with Jun Linyuan and was used to his aura. As a result, he wasn't affected much. I didn't want to mess with him at first, but he was outrageous. He wanted to kill Xiao Wu. Feng Sun began to tell his boss Jun what happened. If I was 1 second late, Zhuo Qingxian would have cut Xiao Wu's throat. If I hadn't done what I did, Xiao Wu would be a corpse on the ground by now. So, Boss Jun, didn't I do the right thing? Feng Sun clenched his fists, trying to make it Jun Linyuan's responsibility. Whoosh! All eyes were on Jun Linyuan. They all wanted to hear Jun Linyuan's answer, especially Ranmil. She might seem indifferent to what was going on, but she was actually watching Jun Linyuan carefully. Before Jun Linyuan could speak, the person who came in after him cried out in surprise. Chapter 1901. Chapter 1901. Chapter 1901. Untitled. Wow, it was the seventh prince. He had been fighting on his own after entering this giant tomb. After running into Jun Linyuan, he immediately decided to follow him around. He had remained quiet until he saw Feng Wu. Oh, the seventh prince suddenly jumped out from behind Jun Linyuan, pointed a finger at Feng Wu, and started yelling. He was too excited to utter a coherent sentence. The sight of Jun Linyuan, the seventh prince, gave Feng Wu a headache. Out of all the places, she just had to run into him here. What a disaster. While Feng Wu was troubled by Jun Linyuan's arrival, Jun Linyuan turned to his big brother and shouted, "Brother! Brother! It's her! It's her!" Feng Sun stared at the seventh prince helplessly. "What do you mean it's her? What did Xiao Wu do to you?" He still didn't realize what was going on, but the clever crown prince did. Jun Linyuan's eyes seemed to turn a shade darker. But Jun Linyuan didn't notice. He pointed at Feng Wu and told Jun Linyuan, "Brother! Brother! She's the woman I'm in love with. She's the only woman I want to marry." Oh no, that was the greatest gossip of all time. All eyes were on Feng Wu. Meanwhile, Feng Lu and her lot were outside the door, and they all rushed in when they heard this. Jun Linyuan, Feng Sun, Xian Yi, Jun Linyuan, and the second prince. Feng Wu, Sapphiro, Ranmil, and Master Ju. Feng Lu, Feng Sang, Feng Iran, Dugayamo, and Dugamingshi. Everyone had gathered here in Star River Hall. And what they heard sounded like a thunderclap in their ears, baffling them. What did the seventh prince say? He likes Feng Wu, and she's the only one he wants to marry. Since when does the seventh prince know Feng Wu? Why are they so familiar with each other? Isn't Feng Wu His Royal Highness's bed-warming maid? Isn't His Royal Highness supposed to care about this girl a lot? Everyone was talking at the same time. Rammel's eyes flickered. Jun Linyuan was completely absorbed in his excitement and couldn't hear what the others were saying. He rushed to Feng Wu's side, took her hands, and went down on one knee. He then asked excitedly, "My goddess, will you marry me?" Everyone was astonished. Sapphiro covered her mouth, fearing that she might scream. How terrifying. So, Feng Wu and the seventh prince are a couple. Since this was a great chance to slander Feng Wu, of course they wouldn't miss it. Hence, everyone started making comments. Feng Wu could sense the intense gaze on her. It was so terrifying. It seemed to be tearing her to pieces. Feng Wu's stomach lurched, and she tried to throw off Jun Linyuan's hands. "Hey, let go of me." But Jun Linyuan had finally found his goddess, so of course he wouldn't let her go. Holding Feng Wu's hands, he wanted to pour out his feelings. Chapter 1902. Chapter 1902. Chapter 1902. Untitled. It's all my fault. I'm so sorry. If I knew you were Feng Wu, I would have found you earlier, and you wouldn't have been alone for so long. From now on, I'll protect you and look after you. I won't let anyone pick on you again. So, Miss Feng Wu, will you marry me? The look in Jun Linyuan's shining eyes was very sincere. A prince of the empire was proposing to her on one knee. Other girls would have gone wild with joy, but Feng Wu, she couldn't get far away enough from a prince. "No, I won't. Let go of me now." She tried to pull her hands back, but Jun Linyuan simply wouldn't let go. Feng Wu grew very anxious. But why? The prince wouldn't drop the subject and looked rather confused. "I'm a prince of the empire and Jun Linyuan's favorite younger brother. I have my own residence. I'm the owner of 3 cities, and I have no wife or concubine. I've searched everywhere for you. Why won't you accept me?" The more he spoke, the sadder he became. He was usually an optimistic person, but now, tears filled his big bright eyes. One couldn't help but feel sympathy for him. Feng Wu. She hadn't done a thing, but he made it look like she had abandoned him. Why was this happening? Before she could explain herself, Sapphiro spoke in a seemingly casual tone. Why did I hear that Miss Feng Wu is His Royal Highness's fiancée? Immediately, all eyes were on Sapphiro. Sapphiro blamed it on Feng Sun right away. Pointing at him, she said, "It wasn't for me. Young Lord Feng said so earlier." Whoosh! All eyes were on Feng Sun now, especially Feng Lu and Feng Yiran, who were all staring at Feng Sun. Feng Sun scratched his head. Things were getting a little complicated. He was equally baffled. He had no idea that the goddess Jun Linyun had been searching for was Feng Wu. Young Lord Feng, you must be joking. Wasn't the marriage arrangement cancelled already? Feng Lu stared at Feng Sun nervously. She couldn't accept it. Feng Yiran said, "It's true. My younger sister was engaged to His Royal Highness once, but that was annulled later. I guess your Royal Highness didn't explain it clearly enough, and Sapphiro misunderstood." Sapphiro shook his head. "No, it wasn't like that. Young Lord Feng made it very clear that Feng Wu and His Royal Highness are still engaged." "Young Lord Feng, am I right?" Feng Sun grew impatient at their bickering. "No, the engagement is still valid, and little Feng Wu is still Boss Jun's fiancée." "What? You have a problem with that?" Those words astonished everyone. Even Feng Wu herself was shocked. She threw a dirty look at Feng Sun. "Don't be ridiculous." Feng Sun patted her on the shoulder and told her the truth. "The two of you are still engaged." Feng Wu said, "No, we're not." Feng Sun said, "Then tell me this. Did you retrieve the token your family gave His Royal Highness?" Chapter 1903. Chapter 1903. Chapter 1903. Untitled. Feng Wu stared at Jun Linyuan. "Didn't you say that you can't remember where you put the dark jade? So, the Crown Prince didn't return the token to the Feng clan." Immediately, all eyes were on the Crown Prince. Jun Linyuan glanced around the room with a ferocious look in his eyes. As everyone watched expectantly, the Crown Prince rose to his feet. "So, did His Royal Highness cancel the engagement or not?" Everyone was eager to hear the answer. Feng stood there deferentially with his head lowered as usual, but deep down, he was feeling anxious for Jun Linyuan. "Your Royal Highness, this is a great opportunity to prove your love for her. Use it well." Jun Linyuan steadily walked up to Feng Wu, stopped, and looked down at her. The look in his eyes was cold and detached, and his elegant features looked like they had been sculpted. The majestic air he gave off was so intimidating that the others didn't dare meet his gaze, but he was still unbelievably attractive. Feng Wu opened her mouth, but didn't know what to say. She really wanted to know if the engagement had been annulled. The others were all waiting for the answer. The seventh prince was very perplexed. However, just then, the Crown Prince cast a stern look at Feng Wu and said, "You've disappointed me." He left after that. He looked so proud and unapproachable from behind that no one dared to make a sound. They could only watch him leave. Gosh! Feng watched in resignation as his young master walked away. His Royal Highness. He should have used this opportunity to express his feelings for the girl, not walk away. By doing so, he was handing the opportunity to his brother. But Feng couldn't say anything because his young master was too proud. He would do exactly the opposite. Feng gave Feng Wu an apologetic look and a nod before following Jun Linyuan away. As soon as the two of them left, the room became very noisy. Wow, the pressure Jun Linyuan gave them was incredible. Therefore, as soon as he left, they felt a burden lifted from their shoulders. Sapphiro was the first to react. Because she saw Feng Wu as her rival in love, she was naturally hostile toward her. Because of that, she was also the first to attack Feng Wu. Well, someone can stop bragging now. Are you still going to say that the engagement isn't canceled? His Royal Highness doesn't seem to agree with you. Feng Lu let out a breath of relief. I knew it. The engagement was no longer valid 5 years ago. There's no way that Feng Wu is still the Crown Prince's future wife. You guys should have believed me. Feng Wu frowned. Was the engagement canceled or not? She hoped it was canceled. Otherwise, she would have to find a way to do it. It would bring her a lot of trouble. Just then, she heard a beep in her head. Trial 7. During the winter hunt, make Jun Linyuan 100% angry. Accomplished. What? Feng Wu wanted to say something, but the message almost made her jump. What the heck? She recalled the 12 trials of love. Chapter 1904. Chapter 1904. Chapter 1904, Untitled. She had to finish all the trials, because only then would her beautiful master wake up again. He said last time that he wouldn't wake up for such a short period only this time. Feng Wu had been stuck on the 7th trial, because things hadn't been going well. Because the trial required her to make Jun Linyuan 100% angry, which she had no idea how to achieve. She had tried to set Jun Linyuan off many times, but to her frustration, she was only able to make him a little upset. Soon, not only wouldn't he feel angry, he would also become rather pleased. Feng Wu had been so frustrated. But just then, she had achieved that goal. How was that even possible? But the message had to be true. She had completed the 7th trial. What was going on? Nothing really happened. Feng Wu scratched her head and felt utterly confused. Ding! Trial 8. Make Jun Linyuan openly acknowledge your engagement. Feng Wu heard the next message. Her eyes widened as she stared into empty space. Sapphiro was standing somewhere ahead of Feng Wu and was now slandering Feng Wu in front of the others. The look in Feng Wu's eyes made her stomach lurch, and she almost jumped to her feet. But Feng Wu didn't hear anything Sapphiro said, because she was still thinking about the message. Trial 8. Make Jun Linyuan openly acknowledge your engagement. By openly acknowledge your engagement, that meant the engagement actually still existed. What? Feng Wu was dumbfounded. Xiao Wu? Xiao Wu? Seeing how baffled Feng Wu looked, Feng Sun shook her by the shoulder. Feng Wu stared at him, as if she had just been struck by lightning. She asked in a dumbfounded voice, Tell me, am I really still engaged to him? Feng Sun nodded happily. That's right. Xiao Wu, don't be afraid. You're the future wife of the crown prince. So what if I've killed Zhu Qingxian? No one will dare touch you. He raised his eyebrows at Feng Wu like a little show-off. Feng Wu didn't know what to say. She didn't like the sound of that at all. I don't believe it. Jun Linyuan finally recovered from his astonishment, and he yelled angrily, I don't believe it. Feng Wu almost rolled her eyes at him. Please mind your own business. She wished that the 7th prince would just go away. But the 7th prince didn't seem to hear her. Holding Feng Wu by her shoulders, he said solemnly, My brother doesn't like you. He's fond of Zhuo Qingwan. Xiao Wu, don't worry. I'll make the engagement go away. Wait for me. He dashed off after that. He was going to reason with his brother. Wow. Feng Sun had almost convinced Feng Lu and the others, but Jun Linyuan's words reminded them of something. The girl His Royal Highness liked was Zhuo Qingwan, the genius teenage girl. The royal family would also choose her, the sacred lady of the Firmament Palace. Chapter 1905. Chapter 1905. Chapter 1905, Untitled. Feng Wu, you're delusional. A bed-warming maid is as far as you can go. His Royal Highness's future wife? You're nothing compared with Zhuo Qingwan. Feng Wu rolled her eyes. I never wanted to marry him, okay? And no other girl in the room would believe her. In fact, no one in the Empire would. Feng Wu, do you know what level Zhuo Qingwan is at now? I received the information just before I entered this place. Du Guillermo stared at Feng Wu with a ferocious look in her eyes. She's reached the peak of the spiritual lord stage. Feng Lu's eyes widened. A peak spiritual lord? Then she's as capable as Master Zhu. Du Guillermo smirked. I'm afraid she's even better than Master Zhu. Feng Lu said, Well, Feng Wu is even further below Miss Sua then. Du Guillermo gave Feng Wu a contemptuous glance. She's not just far below Qingwan. She's not even worthy enough to clean Qingwan's shoes. That's enough. Feng Sun snapped. I'll hit a woman when I need to. Say one more nasty thing about Xiao Wu, and I'll choke you to death. Ew. Du Guillermo glared at him. Feng Sun smirked. I've killed Zhu Qingxian. Do you think I'll think twice before killing you? You. Du Guillermo was still angry, but she didn't dare offend Feng Sun anymore. You're nuts. Duguyamo clenched her fists. Glancing at Zhuo Qingxian's corpse on the ground, she snorted. Just wait and see. I hear that Qingwan is coming back soon. I can't wait to see you tell her what you did. Zhuo Qingwan is coming back. Feng Sang, who had been silent this whole time, suddenly asked. Yes, said Duguyamo proudly. As far as I know, Qingwan has come out of seclusion and is traveling around to train herself. In less than 6 months, she'll be back at the Imperial capital. Why? Feng Sang asked. Why 6 months? Because Duguyamo suddenly smiled. It's a secret. Since she wouldn't tell them, the others found it inappropriate to ask, despite their curiosity. After that, Duguyamo said to Feng Wu in a mocking tone, when she gets back, you'll see how petty you are. Qingwan will make you ashamed of yourself. Umph. Feng Wu frowned. She didn't care about Duguyamo, so her words didn't affect her, but had Zhuo Qingwan reached the peak of the spiritual lord stage already? It seemed that Zhuo Qingwan was making equally rapid progress, and she was going to be back in 6 months. Feng Wu clenched her fists in her sleeves and was desperate to become stronger. It was as if her blood was boiling. One day, she would defeat Zhuo Qingwan, her archenemy, in front of everyone. Xiao Wu. Feng Sun was concerned. Are you all right? Feng Wu nodded. You look tired. He then lent Feng Wu a hand. Feng Wu was speechless. After separating from the White Fairy, she fought almost to death against Zhuo Qingxian, got chased around by Master Ju and Sapphiro, and had almost been killed by the revived Zhuo Qingxian. Chapter 1906. Chapter 1906. Chapter 1906. Untitled. Then there was the 7th prince, and Jun Linyuan was angry at her for no reason. Feng Wu felt that she had just had the most unlucky day. Everyone was turning against her when she didn't do anything. I'm fine. Feng Wu barely had any strength left to speak. She felt drained both mentally and physically. Feng Sun patted her on the shoulder. A short distance away, Feng Lu and Duguyamo were whispering together. She must have gotten scared when she heard that Qingwan is coming back. Feng Lu said, of course she's scared. When Sister Qingwan comes back, she'll be nothing. She can't be arrogant for long. I hope Sister Qingwan comes back soon. Feng Sun wanted to smack them, but the whispers disappeared as soon as he turned around. Feng Sun was rendered speechless. Talk about Xiao Wu behind her back again, and I'll use my purple sun sword on you. Feng Sun then struck at a statue in front of him. The statue was sliced in half and fell apart. Feng Lu was speechless. So was Duguyamo. They lowered their heads and ground their teeth, but didn't dare utter another word. Feng Sun snorted. What a bunch of bullies. Let's go. I don't want to see them. Feng Sun was going to take Feng Wu away, but at that moment, crunch. The open door of the hall made a strange sound. Everyone turned their heads involuntarily. The bronze door closed at a tremendous speed. Shit. Feng Sun tried to make a run for it with Feng Wu, but he was too late. Thump. The door slammed shut when he was almost at the doorway. It nearly caught his purple sun sword. What's going on? Feng Sun jabbed the door with his sword in frustration. It might look like a normal bronze door, but when Feng Sun poked his sword at it, he finally realized how solid it was. Why did it close so suddenly? Did someone trigger it? Feng Wu frowned. Look at that statue's face. It wasn't smiling like that, was it? The 2nd prince cried out. Immediately, everyone looked at the statue that had been sliced in half by Feng Sun. It was true. It had been a statue of a monk with closed eyes and a serious look on its face, but now, its eyes were still closed, but there was a strange smile on its face. That smile is so creepy. He looked so satisfied. What a cunning smile. Everyone read the smile differently, but one thing was for sure. The statue of the monk no longer looked kind at all. What's going on? Why do I feel that the light has gone dark? You're not alone. I feel that it's getting darker, too. Hey, do you feel that the temperature is dropping? It's not just that. The coldness is seeping into my bones. I feel a chill going down my spine. My legs are going to give way. Oh God, what's happening? What have we run into? A lot of people gave Feng Sun accusing looks. If he hadn't damaged the statue, they wouldn't be trapped here. Chapter 1907. Chapter 1907, Untitled. But because of how intimidating Feng Sun had been earlier, no one dared to accuse him out loud. Feng Sun was confused as well. If Jun Linyuan had been here, he could simply do whatever Boss Jun told him to do. But Jun Linyuan wasn't here, so Feng Sun was on his own. Xiao Wu, don't be afraid. I'm here for you. Feng Sun patted his chest. I'll protect you. Don't worry. Feng Wu sighed inwardly. Somehow, Feng Sun never brought her any good luck. By then, it was so dark that they couldn't even see their fingers in front of their faces. Feng Sun held Feng Wu's hand for fear of losing her. Feng Wu didn't know what to say. What are you doing? Feng Wu then realized that a rope had been tied around her waist, and she turned to Feng Sun in confusion. Feng Sun said happily, I don't want to lose you in the dark, so I tied a rope around your waist, and the other end is tied to my waistband. How's that? Aren't I clever? Feng Wu stared at Feng Sun. Feng Sun's big eyes flickered in the dark as he looked forward to Feng Wu's compliment. Feng Wu said, You're so childish. Feng Sun said, I'm trying to protect you. Feng Wu said, It's so ugly. Untie me. Feng Sun refused. I can't do that. What if someone kills you in the dark? Boss Jun will kill me for that. I can't take the risk. Feng Wu didn't know what to say. The others all laughed inwardly. If His Royal Highness really cared about Feng Wu so much, why would he leave her behind? Just then, they heard someone cry out in the dark. Feng Lu? Feng Lu, is that you? What happened? Someone grabbed my foot. Feng Lu shrieked. I can't kick it away. It's pulling my skirt. Help! Just then, someone else near Feng Lu screamed as well. It ate my shoe and is now biting my foot. Help! That was Dougie Yamo. Screams filled the hall, and nearly everyone was panic-stricken. Feng Wu frowned. She could tell that someone was deliberately trying to scare them. That was because only the girls were screaming. Is it that bad? Why hasn't anyone grabbed or bitten me yet? Are they faking it? Feng Sun murmured. Feng Wu shook her head. No, they're not. What? Feng Sun was bewildered. Feng Wu said, They haven't attacked you, right? Feng Sun said, That's right. Feng Wu said, If I've guessed correctly, they're only targeting the girls. Feng Sun blinked. Targeting the girls? Why? Feng Wu scratched her head helplessly. I think they're all male ghosts. You can call them lewd ghosts. Feng Sun said, Seriously? There are such ghosts in this place? I didn't see any mention of them in the historical records. Feng Wu wondered if she should tell Feng Sun that she had used this trick on Ranmil earlier, and they had learned it from her. It was so hard to admit it. Chapter 1908, Attack. Chapter 1908, Attack. With a wave of her hand, little balls of fire appeared in Feng Wu's palms and floated into the air. They immediately lit up the pitch-black hall, and everyone could see around them. Someone screamed even louder. Feng Lu yelled, Arg! Ghosts! Ghosts! A middle-aged ghost was behind her and was licking her ear with its long, sticky tongue. Feng Lu shook from head to toe. She jumped around in fear, scared out of her wits. How petty! Ranmil smirked and took out a handful of soybeans. Die! Whoosh! When she threw out the soybeans, the ghost screamed. Each bean had hit a ghost. Moreover, Ranmil had aimed specifically at their noses. When a bean shot into a ghost's nostril, the ghost froze on the spot before it turned into smoke. Their nostrils were their weakest spot. Whoosh! Ranmil went on hitting the ghost with her soybeans, and there were a lot more beans than ghosts. Thus, 3 minutes later, Ranmil single-handedly killed all the ghosts. Wow, Dougie was the first to react, and she looked at Ranmil in admiration. Princess Ranmil, you're awesome. We would be in so much trouble if you weren't with us. Feng Lu finally quieted down and began to thank Ranmil repeatedly as well. Ranmil smiled good-naturedly and didn't put on any airs. Feng Lu liked her even more. Princess, you're so awesome. None of your beans missed its target. By the way, Princess Ranmil, how did you know where to hit them? Hearing that question, everyone turned to look at Ranmil. Ranmil smiled and glanced at Feng Wu, apparently very pleased with herself. How did she know? Ranmil said casually, actually, I need to thank Princess Feng Wu for that. Why? Dugayamo and Feng Lu asked in unison. Ranmil said in a seemingly light-hearted tone, Princess Feng Wu played a trick on me earlier and had some lewd ghosts come after me. I almost couldn't get out. Luckily, I was able to figure out at the last moment. Otherwise, although her tone was quite casual, the information she revealed was shocking. What? Feng Wu played that trick on you? It wasn't just a trick. She tried to kill you. Those lewd ghosts are so disgusting, and you were surrounded by them. Gosh, Feng Wu is so evil. I'm so glad you figured it out in the end. Just imagine what would happen if you didn't. Feng Wu, you did it on purpose, didn't you? Feng Wu, what did you try to do to Princess Ranmil? Chapter 1909. Offense is the best defense. Chapter 1909. Offense is the best defense. After Ranmil saved Feng Lu and Dugayamo, the two girls became her loyal fans. They hadn't taken Ranmil's side at first, but they disliked Feng Wu so much, and not only was Ranmil awesome, she was Feng Wu's enemy as well. Since the enemy's enemy was a friend, Dugayamo and Feng Lu immediately took Ranmil's side. Feng Wu said with a half-smile, So, why did I use such a trick on you? Princess Ranmil, aren't you going to tell the whole story? The others had expected Feng Wu to deny it, but she admitted it right away. Feng Lu stared at Feng Wu. Feng Wu, you admitted it. You admitted that you had evil intentions toward Princess Ranmil. You're so mean. Dugayamo pointed at Feng Wu as well. You're such a horrible person. How could you do such a thing? Do you even have a heart? Feng Wu acted as if Feng Lu and Dugayamo weren't there. Her gaze was fixed on Ranmil. Ranmil was very good at pretending to be something she wasn't, and of course she wasn't going to show her real self now. Tears welled up in her clear, bright eyes, and she spoke in a pitiful tone. That's also what I wanted to ask. Princess Feng Wu, why did you do that to me? That accusation immediately put Feng Wu in a very disadvantageous position. The second prince played with his fan and watched this with a half-smile on his face. Things were getting very interesting. He wanted to see how Feng Wu would get herself out of this. Ranmil asked in an aggrieved voice, Princess Feng Wu, do you want to kill me just because I complimented His Royal Highness? What? Just because Ranmil complimented His Royal Highness? Ranmil sobbed, and she looked as lovely as a fawn. She then said, But His Royal Highness is so talented and there's no one else like him. Isn't it normal for me to compliment him? Feng Lu and the others all nodded. That's right. It would be very strange if someone doesn't compliment His Royal Highness. Ranmil pointed at Feng Wu and said, I know young Lord Feng has said that you're the Crown Prince's future wife and the future Empress of the Empire. Can't you even tolerate other people's compliments? Ranmil's crying face already made the others feel sympathetic toward her. Since she had saved them just then, they were naturally all on her side. Feng Lu smirked and said, Princess Ranmil, you've only pointed out half of it. The others all turned to look at her. Feng Lu stared at Feng Wu with a malicious look in her eyes. Although you only complimented His Royal Highness, she already considers you her love rival. You're more prestigious and capable than her, and you're from a powerful sect. You also have a more pleasant personality. In a word, you're better than her in every way. Of course, she's jealous of you. She's worried that you'll win His Royal Highness's heart, which is why she tried to kill you. That was her motive. Feng Wu, I'm right, aren't I? All eyes were on Feng Wu now. Chapter 1910. Feng Wu's Attack. Chapter 1910. Feng Wu's Attack. How was Feng Wu going to answer all those questions? Feng Wu felt like screaming. She really didn't have feelings for Jun Lin Yuan, but why did everyone think that she was so in love with him that she would kill Ranmil for it? Feng Wu met Feng Lu's eyes. No, that's not true. Feng Lu smirked. I knew you would say that. But Feng Wu, we all know you too well. Feng Wu heaved a sigh. These people just wouldn't listen to her. However, Ranmil had been attacking her nonstop and even used Feng Lu to shift public opinion to her side. Meanwhile, Ranmil herself was playing the ingenue. Feng Wu decided that she had had enough. She suddenly grinned at Ranmil. Offense was the best defense. So, Feng Wu made her move. The questions didn't seem to bother her at all. She smiled at Ranmil and asked, Princess Ranmil, according to you, you only complimented His Royal Highness, correct? Ranmil studied Feng Wu. She was rather impressed. She had almost cornered Feng Wu, but she was still able to retort. She's so level-headed. I have to be more careful around her, thought Ranmil. Ranmil became more alarmed, but she was still weeping when she said, Yes, that was all I did. Why did you make such a big deal over it? Feng Wu looked around the room. Feng Lu, De Guillermo, and Sapphiro were all fond of Jun Linyuan, so, Princess Ranmil, aren't you fond of His Royal Highness? Yes. Offense was the best defense. Feng Wu attacked, aiming at Ranmil's soft spot. Ranmil was dumbfounded. She didn't see that coming. Feng Wu was using Ranmil's trick against her. Awesome. Whoosh. Feng Lu and the others all turned to look at Ranmil. Biting her lower lip, Ranmil wanted to smack Feng Wu. Feng Wu smiled at Ranmil and repeated her question. So, Princess Ranmil, are you not fond of Jun Linyuan at all? Have you never had a crush on a most talented teenager? Tell me, yes or no? Feng Wu pressed. Ranmil clenched her fists. Right now, all eyes were on her. If she said no, Feng Wu would definitely force her to swear it. That way, she wouldn't have any chance in the future. But if she said yes, she would be contradicting herself. She had just accused Feng Wu of being unreasonably jealous. But what if she had a reason to be jealous? Feng Wu's question put Ranmil in a very difficult position. The second prince was genuinely amazed. That was awesome. Feng Wu had turned things around with just one question. Not only had she cornered Ranmil, there was also a high chance that she could shatter Ranmil's mask. How incredible. Feng Wu couldn't care less about the second prince. She kept her gaze on Ranmil. Princess Ranmil, you're not in love with His Royal Highness, are you? Feng Lu frowned. Chapter 1911, Zhuo Qingluan's Match. Chapter 1911, Zhuo Qingluan's Match. From the very start, Ranmil had pretended to be someone who kept her distance from Jun Linyuan. If she admitted that she was fond of Jun Linyuan now, it would make her a hypocrite, and the others would know that she had been acting the whole time. No, I'm not, Ranmil insisted. His Royal Highness is indeed a talented person, but he's not the only man in the world. Why must I be in love with him? Whereas you, Feng Wu, are jealous of everyone when you may not be His Royal Highness's future wife after all. Ranmil wanted to change the subject, but Feng Wu smiled at her. Are you really not in love with His Royal Highness, or are you just saying it? I'm not in love with him. Oh, really? In that case, how about you make an oath? Swear that you'll never be in love with Jun Linyuan, and if you marry him one day, you and the entire Senile grassland will be annihilated by heavenly thunder. There, make that oath now. Ranmil glared at Feng Wu. Why should I? Feng Wu said. Aren't you trying to prove that you're not fond of Jun Linyuan? Didn't you just accuse me of being unreasonably jealous? Make that oath, and I'll admit that I was unreasonably jealous. How about that? Ranmil glared at Feng Wu. Feng Wu glared back at her. It seemed that a battle was going to start at any moment. Just then, crack, the fireballs released by Feng Wu were suddenly extinguished. The hall became pitch dark once more. Everyone had been watching the bickering between Feng Wu and Ranmil, and many of them panicked when the sudden darkness fell upon them. What's going on? What now? I don't want to see those lewd ghosts anymore. Feng Lu and De Guillermo were very nervous. Ranmil let out a breath of relief. Feng Wu might seem weak, but when she became serious, she could be very frightening. Clap, clap, clap. They heard someone clapping. Someone said in a teasing tone, not bad. Not bad at all. That was very interesting. The mysterious voice came from above them, but it seemed to resound in their heads as well. "Who's there? Who on earth are you? Come out. Stop trying to scare us." Everyone was nervous, alarmed, and a little panic-stricken. "Ha ha! Who am I?" A giant face suddenly emerged from the high ceiling above their heads. It was so big that it almost covered the entire ceiling. "Ah!" Everyone jumped. Ramil cried out, "Are you the legendary Black Robe Ghost King?" "The Black Robe Ghost King? He's one of the 3 Ghost Kings, isn't he? It said that one can get the seed of the spirit source if they receive the recognition of all 3 Ghost Kings. Are you one of them?" Immediately, everyone's eyes lit up. The seed of the spirit source. It could raise one's cultivation level by an entire stage. What did that mean? Take Feng Wu, for example. She was a level 7 spiritual elder now. If she obtained the seed, she could rise directly to a level 7 spiritual lord. Once that happened, she would be almost at the same level as Zhuo Qingwan. Chapter 1912, Black Robe Ghost King. Chapter 1912, Black Robe Ghost King. Feng Wu clenched her fists. She had to have the seed of the spirit source. But she wasn't the only one. Ramil wanted it as well. "Ha ha, you all want the seed of the spirit source, but it's not that easy." The giant face on the ceiling grinned maliciously. Everyone clenched their fists and looked up at the Black Robe Ghost King. "However, the seed of the spirit source does exist, and all of you have a chance to get it." After a pause, the Ghost King glanced at each of them in turn. The look in his eyes was cold, intimidating, and grim. Somehow, when the Ghost King looked at Feng Wu, she felt as if a giant hand had gripped her heart and squeezed. She could clearly sense the hostility the Ghost King held toward her. Oh no, Feng Wu had a bad feeling. She was right. The Ghost King smirked and said, "It won't be an easy thing to do, because you'll need the recognition of all 3 Ghost Kings. Otherwise, you'll never find it, no matter how capable you are. And I'm the Black Robe Ghost King, one of the 3 Ghost Kings. If you want my recognition, it's very easy. There are 7 levels in Universe Hall, and this is the first level. What you need to do is climb to the 7th floor." Someone mumbled in the crowd, "Isn't that a very easy thing to do?" Hearing that, "Ha ha ha, you fool," the Black Robe Ghost King smirked. "You'll see once you start climbing. It's anything but easy." "Really?" The second prince looked to the right, where a staircase led to the upper floors. "Ha ha ha." Just then, the Ghost King smirked, and the sound gave the others the creeps. Involuntarily, everyone turned to look at the Ghost King. The Ghost King looked at each person in turn and suddenly announced, "There are 14 of you here, and that staircase will only allow 7 people to pass." "What do you mean?" Feng Sun recognized the ill intent in those words. He frowned and narrowed his eyes. He was quite sharp at sensing danger. The Ghost King glanced at Feng Sun and grinned. "It means that you'll have a captain who will be given the right to choose 6 team members." The Ghost King stared at Feng Sun with a look of satisfaction on his face and thought, "Do you think I'll make you turn on each other? No, I'll just show you what it feels like to be abandoned." Wow. Many people panicked when they heard those words. 7 out of 14. That was to say, 7 of them would be eliminated. So, what will happen to the 7 people who aren't picked? Feng Yiran asked, gritting his teeth. All the members of the Feng family were in danger of being eliminated. Because it concerned his own interests, Feng Yiran asked the Ghost King the question despite his fear. Chapter 1913, Luck versus Survival. Chapter 1913, Luck versus Survival. That was also what the others wanted to know, so they all nervously looked up at the Black Robe Ghost King. What will happen to the ones who aren't picked? Ha ha ha. The Ghost King looked like he had heard something very amusing when he said, "Well, it's very likely that they'll die." Die. Everyone's eyes widened. They had thought that the worst that would happen was that they would lose the chance of finding the seed of the spirit source. But as it turned out, there is a high possibility that they would die. Hey kids, don't panic just yet. I said very likely, which means that there's a chance that you won't die. Despite the intimidating and creepy air the black-robed Ghost King gave off, he somehow also had a coquettish side. But none of them noticed, since death hovered above their heads like a dark cloud, as if it could snatch them up at any moment. What do you mean by very likely? Why are we going to die? What are the rules? What should we do to stay alive? Feng Iran, Feng Lu, and Dugayamo all cried out and asked questions. Other Ghost Kings would have gotten impatient by now, but this Ghost King was quite talkative, for he hadn't spoken to anyone in a very long time. The rules are very straightforward, the Ghost King said cheerfully. The captain will choose 6 people to form a 7-member team. They can then climb those stairs, clear the obstacles, and reach the destination. Of course, they'll have to work hard to get through the trials. The Ghost King blinked, which looked rather eerie. The remaining 7 people can either wait for their deaths or form a team of their own. I have a name for that team already, Survival. What should that team do then? Feng Iran had a bad feeling. He knew that he was going to be a member of that team. The black-robed Ghost King smirked. What should they do? Challenge the first team, obviously. Challenge the first team? The black-robed Ghost King didn't like the confused looks on their faces. You're all so stupid. You can't understand anything unless I show it to you. So stupid. As he spoke, he flipped his wide sleeves. Instantly, thump, the entire universe hall shook so violently that they couldn't stand still. They all held on to things to steady themselves. The scene they saw after the turbulence shocked them all. What a scene! The hall was cut into half, and it was done very skillfully. The hall was split into 2 equal halves. Only the top floor was intact, and the lower 6 floors were all split. If one recalled the 2 sides, the Chosen Hall and the Survival Hall, the 2 halls were only connected at the top level. They still didn't fully understand what was going on, so they turned their nervous gazes to the black-robed Ghost King. The Ghost King snorted. Chapter 1914, You're the Captain. Chapter 1914, You're the Captain. Isn't it obvious enough? Once you're divided into 2 teams, the chosen team will walk the chosen path, and the survival team, the survival path. Are the 2 teams different? Feng Iran asked nervously. The others were equally nervous. Of course they are. The black-robed Ghost King was very frank. Why is it called the chosen team? It's like the name suggests. It's the chosen one. The trials on the 1st to the 7th floors will be difficult for the chosen team. As for the survival team, he paused for effect. Feng Iran asked eagerly, what about the survival team? How difficult will the trials be? The Ghost King chuckled. The survival team? It'll be hell mode at least. Why? Feng Iran grew anxious. The abandoned ones are already weak. Why are the trials harder for them? They'll be killed. That's correct. No prize, unfortunately, said the Ghost King cheerfully. Everyone stared at the Ghost King in astonishment. The Ghost King said matter-of-factly, why do you think it's called the survival team? Why do you think the members are likely to die? Because it's an impossible mission for them. 7 out of 14. So, that was 1 out of 2, a 50% chance. That wasn't a high probability at all. The Ghost King smiled as he studied the panic-stricken faces. What are the chances that the members of the survival team will get to the end? Feng Iran asked gingerly. The Ghost King was quite patient. He rubbed his chin, thought for a while, and said slowly, for as long as I can remember, the survival team has never succeeded. SSSS-. Everyone drew in their breaths. What? Never. That's not very likely. That's die for sure. That means that if we're not in the chosen team, not only won't we get the seed of the spirit source, we'll also die. That's... Many people panicked. What now? What now? What should they do now? Sapphiro and the others were all very anxious. May I ask who the captain of the chosen team will be? Ranmil was as innocent as ever as she beamed at the Ghost King. It was as if what he said hadn't affected her at all. The Ghost King looked down at Ranmil in a condescending manner, but his tone was much milder. There's no strict criteria for that. I'll pick whomever I like for the job. Everyone grew excited. They were about to fawn on the Ghost King when he spoke again. Kiddo, you single-handedly killed a small group of my soldiers. That was impressive, and I should reward you for that. You're pretty, approachable, and capable, and you're a good physician as well. What a treasure. There, you'll be the captain. Chapter 1915. Princess Feng Wu should be the one. Chapter 1915. Princess Feng Wu should be the one. There, you'll be the captain. Whoosh. After those words, a bright beam of light shone down from above onto Ranmil. A shiny headband appeared on her forehead, and the words on it read, Chosen Captain. Already? That was so quick. The others looked from the black-robed Ghost King to Ranmil. The Ghost King found the scared looks on their faces most amusing. He guffawed and said, It's your game from now on. Kids, have fun. With a whoosh, the giant face on the ceiling disappeared. The hall also lit up. Everyone could see each other's faces now. Sister, Sapphiro was the first to react. Before Ranmil could say a word, Sapphiro rushed to her side, took her hand, and said excitedly, Sister, congratulations. I knew it. You're the most outstanding one of them all. You deserve to be made the captain. I guessed right. Sapphiro held Ranmil's hand and winked at her. I'm your own sister. You'll pick me, right? When there were outsiders around, the two sisters looked like best friends, but they both knew what the other really was like. Sapphiro was sure that if Ranmil still wanted to look like the pure and kind princess that she pretended to be, she had to choose her. As expected, Ranmil said shyly, Why am I the captain? I don't know anything. Everyone now realized what had happened. Ranmil was the captain now. The black-robed Ghost King had said that the captain would be the one to decide who would be in the team. And now, it was time to fawn on the princess. Feng Lu was the first one to reach Ranmil, and she said, Princess, please pick me. I've always been on your side. I promise that I'll do well. Before Ranmil could reply, Dugiyamo was there as well. Princess, please pick me. I'll give you anything you want. Please pick me. Immediately, nearly all of them surrounded Ranmil and pleaded. Ranmil looked shy, and she waved her hands. I shouldn't be the captain. I'm not worthy enough. Feng Lu said, Why shouldn't you be? You're the prettiest, kindest, and most lovely girl of us all. Dugiyamo said, That's right. Not only that, you're also the most capable one of us all. Didn't the Ghost King say it just then? You single-handedly saved us all. No, it's not like that. Ranmil waved her hands. It shouldn't be me. I should give the role of captain away. Give it away. Feng Lu and Dugiyamo's eyes lit up. Princess, who do you want to give it to? Ranmil looked gingerly at Feng Wu and smiled wryly. Princess Feng Wu should be the one. Chapter 1916, Show Off. Chapter 1916, Show Off. What? Feng Lu and Dugiyamo didn't like the sound of that at all. Feng Wu frowned a little. This Ranmil, she was such a show-off. How interesting. Feng Sun frowned, too. He didn't know why he frowned, but he just knew that there was something wrong with what Ranmil said. At the same time, Feng Lu asked, Princess, why do you want to give it to Feng Wu? Why? Ranmil said gingerly, Because Princess Feng Wu is the future wife of His Royal Highness, which means that His Royal Highness sees something in her. She's supposed to be the best girl here? No, she's supposed to be the best girl on this continent. That's why she should be the captain. Feng Wu gave Ranmil a half-smile. Awesome. The princess had just taken revenge for what Feng Wu said about her earlier. She used the opportunity to make Feng Wu the target to be humiliated by Feng Lu and Dugiyamo when she herself got to play the nice person. She didn't need to say anything, and the others would do it for her. Interesting. Very interesting. Feng Lu and Dugiyamo went on ingratiating themselves with Ranmil. Of course you're worthy. You're the best. You're the true match of the Crown Prince. And Feng Wu is nothing. His Royal Highness has never acknowledged her. They went on disparaging Feng Wu and lavishing praise on Ranmil. Feng Sun smacked his head. He finally figured out. Why was he upset? Because Ranmil was so fake. Ranmil, this is who you are. I used to think you were so innocent. You're such a hypocrite, thought Feng Sun. He glared at Ranmil. Are you done? That immediately silenced everyone. Feng Sun smirked. The Black-Robed Ghost King made you the captain. So be it. Stop acting already. You'll only disgust Feng Wu. I know what you're doing. Ranmil's stomach lurched. Shit. She had deliberately made Feng Lu and Dugayamo say those things while she played the part of the innocent bunny. However, she had overdone it, and Feng Sun was now suspicious of her. No, Ranmil's ultimate target was Junlin Yuan, but to get him, she had to get Feng Sun first. Ranmil smiled bitterly and said, Young Lord Feng, you're mistaken. I really didn't mean it. I genuinely want Princess Feng Wu to be the captain. Feng Sun frowned and wanted to say something else. Ranmil cajoled Feng Sun in a soft, gentle voice. All right. If you don't like it, I won't say another word. Is that okay? Although I don't feel that I'm worthy of this position, if I keep declining it, young Lord Fo will be even more misled. So, I guess I'm a captain. The others all nodded. Ranmil said, but it's so hard to pick the 6 members. Please don't hate me if you're not picked. I'm not doing it willingly. Hearing this, the others all said that they understood and looked eagerly at her. Chapter 1917, Touch and Go. Chapter 1917, Touch and Go. Ranmil smiled bitterly. Obviously, the first one will be Sapphiro, my sister. Please don't be mad at me. No, of course not. There were 6 places. Of course she needed to give one to her own sister. The second will be... She looked around in a seemingly troubled manner before her gaze landed on Master Ju. Master Ju is a very capable man and my good friend. I have to pick him. Yes, Master Ju was indeed very capable. The others didn't like it, but they managed not to say anything. Seeing that there were only 4 places left, Feng Lu and the others began to worry. Ranmil then looked at the second prince. She smiled and said, Your Royal Highness, you are as prestigious as you are capable. I wonder if you would like to be on my team? Immediately, everyone looked at him. After all, he was the second son of Emperor Wu, and Empress Dugu was his mother. Therefore, Ranmil had to show him respect. The second prince, Feng Lu, and the others didn't like it, but they couldn't say anything. The second prince smiled. Actually, he had always been convinced that he was the most talented teenager, second only to Junlin Yuan. Thus, he had thought that the Ghost King would choose him as the captain. It had never occurred to him that Ranmil would be chosen first. Who would choose to die if they had the choice to live? So, the second prince suppressed his resentment, smiled a little, and nodded at Ranmil. That was a yes. The others grew uneasy. Ranmil, Sapphiro, Master Ju, and the 7th prince. For out of the 7 places were gone, and there were only 3 left. Who would Ranmil give those 3 to? Those chosen would owe Ranmil their lives. Ranmil smiled and looked at Feng Wu. Miss Feng Wu, will you join my team? SSSS. Many drew in their breaths. What happened to Ranmil? Why would she choose Feng Wu? Wouldn't it be nice if they just let her die here? Both Feng Lu and Dugayamo stared at Ranmil in disbelief. At the same time, Ranmil smiled at Feng Wu, looking as innocent and naive as ever. Feng Wu smiled back at her. One could almost feel the sparks between them that were ready to explode at any moment. The air seemed to freeze, and no one said a word as they looked at the 2 girls who were at loggerheads. Ranmil was very pleased with herself because she was doing everything above board. Since Feng Wu had tricked her and forced her hand, she was going to give Feng Wu that chance and see what she would do. If Feng Wu said yes, she would be accused of being shameless. If Feng Wu said no, she was choosing to die herself, and Ranmil would have nothing to do with it. Ranmil smiled brightly. Feng Wu's smile grew wider as well. What if I say no? Feng Wu spoke unhurriedly. Ranmil put on a surprised face and said sincerely, Princess Feng Wu, the Ghost King just said, Chapter 1918. Ranmil is astonished. Chapter 1918. Ranmil is astonished. This is your only chance to get out of here alive. Why would you turn it down? No, you. Feng Wu smiled. Thank you, princess, for your kindness, but the Ghost King doesn't get to decide which path is the right one. Ranmil feigned a confused look. What do you mean? Feng Wu smiled confidently. I'll decide which path is the right one. With her hair and the lower hem of her clothes dancing in the wind, Feng Wu looked as splendid as a goddess. That was how confident she was. All eyes were on her now. Feng Wu, you've chosen death yourself. Good, thought Ranmil. She rejoiced inwardly, but she still feigned a sorry tone. Princess Feng Wu, if that's your choice, I'll have to respect it. Feng Lu and Feng Iran found Feng Wu's choice idiotic. What kind of person would choose death over life? Her pride will get her killed. All the better. We'll have a chance now, Feng Lu told Dugayama with a smile. Feng Wu heard those words, but she ignored them. Ranmil was secretly over the moon and found the black-robed Ghost King her lucky star. She thought that she could use the chance to drive a wedge between Feng Wu and Feng Sun. Ranmil smiled sincerely at Feng Sun. Young Lord Feng, would you like to join the team? She was convinced that Feng Sun would join her because any normal person would. Moreover, she had been fawning on the young lord on their way here and had become friends with him, which was why she was so confident. However, Feng Sun's reply felt like a slap to her face. Why should I join your team? Feng Sun snorted. I'll go where Xiao Wu goes. Ranmil was baffled. She had expected that Feng Wu would refuse, but Feng Sun. Why would he turn her down? The smile froze on Ranmil's face. Feng Sun couldn't care less about how she felt. He stood by Feng Wu's side and said, We're the survival team. Join us if you want. You have to believe that we'll lead you out of this hall and become the winner in the end. The crowd was speechless. The corner of Ranmil's mouth twitched. She didn't know that Feng Sun would be so loyal to Feng Wu, and she realized that all her efforts had gone to waste. She clenched her fists in her sleeves. If you want to die with Feng Wu, go ahead. You're not Junlin Yuan's only friend, thought Ranmil. Young Lord Xian, Ranmil smiled at Xian Yi. However, before she could say anything, Xian Yi moved behind Feng Sun with his arms crossed and became a member of the survival team. The smile froze on Ranmil's face again. After Feng Sun, Xian Yi had humiliated her as well. Ranmil was so mad that she thought she was going to lose her mind. Why were Junlin Yuan's friends so annoying? However, you're not the only help I can find, thought Ranmil. Your Royal Highness, Ranmil then turned to the seventh prince. Chapter 1919, Final Choice. Chapter 1919, Final Choice. The seventh prince had yet to recover from his astonishment. Ever since he learned of the relationship between Feng Wu and Junlin Yuan, the seventh prince had been in a trance-like state. However, Ranmil's voice woke him up immediately. Huh? What was that? The seventh prince looked at Ranmil in bewilderment. Ranmil didn't know what to say. Junlin Yuan was also a prince of the Junwu Empire and liked to follow Junlin Yuan around. Naturally, Ranmil would want to please him. Ranmil asked with a smile, Your Royal Highness, would you like to join my team? The seventh prince looked at Ranmil in bewilderment. Instead of answering her question, he asked, What about Feng Wu? Is my goddess in your team? Ranmil's face froze again. To save a precious place, Feng Lu said loudly, No. Feng Wu gave up the opportunity. She's in the survival team. The seventh prince ignored the name of the team and said solemnly, I'll be wherever my goddess is. Where's that team? Looking up, he saw Feng Wu and the others, and he quickly ran up to them and stood at the end of the line. Ranmil's face went livid. After the humiliation she received from Feng Sun, Xian Yi and the seventh prince had done the same. Even Ranmil couldn't remain unaffected. The second prince stared at the seventh prince and was equally displeased. The two of them had the same mother, but his younger brother only wanted to hang out with Junlin Yuan and Feng Wu. Lin Yun, come over here, the second prince bellowed. Junlin Yun shook his head. No, this is where I want to be. The second prince gritted his teeth. Are you an idiot? That path will only get you killed. Join my side, and you'll live. The seventh prince was perplexed. Huh? What? Ranmil wanted to win the second prince to her side, so she said patiently. The Black Robe Ghost King said earlier that the chosen team will undergo trials at the difficult level, while the survival team will go through hell mode. Your Royal Highness, you're too important to take such risks. Please come with us. I see. Jun Linyun let out a breath of relief. Ranmil nodded and smiled. It seemed that the seventh prince would be on her side after all. But Ranmil was still smiling when Jun Linyun rested his hands on his waist and raised his chin proudly. You have no idea how awesome my goddess is. With her on my team, no trial will ever be a problem for us. What? Ranmil was so embarrassed. She felt like she had been slapped again. She turned to look at the second prince. The second prince was equally frustrated and wanted to give the seventh prince a good spanking. However, Jun Linyun had been an unruly child since he was little, and there was nothing the second prince could do. If he could help it, he wouldn't have allowed his young brother to run after Jun Linyuan all the time. Ranmil was even more furious when she saw that the second prince couldn't do anything about the seventh prince. So, Feng Wu, this is why you're so arrogant. So many people are on your side, thought Ranmil, her chest heaving with rage. Chapter 1920, I love him more than my own life. Chapter 1920, I love him more than my own life. Right now, the members of the chosen team included Ranmil, Sapphiro, Master Ju, and the second prince. Feng Wu's survival team included herself, Feng Sun, Xian Yi, and the seventh prince. In terms of absolute capability, Feng Wu's team wasn't necessarily inferior. There are 3 places left. Ranmil looked around and narrowed her eyes. The remaining candidates were Feng Lu, Feng Iran, Feng Sang, Dugayamo, Dugamingshi, and the unconscious Jun Wuxia. She didn't like any of them, but to annoy Feng Wu, Ranmil chuckled. Of the 6 of you, Princess Jun Wuxia is still unconscious, so she should stay with her brother. As for the last 2 places, she smiled. Feng Lu, you and your siblings are Princess Feng Wu's family, so I'm sure that you want to stay with her. In that case, Dugamingshi and Dugayamo, you're with me. Hearing that, Feng Lu panicked. No, they didn't want to stay with Feng Wu at all. Was Ranmil blind? Hadn't she realized how much they disliked Feng Wu? Feng Lu was about to say something, but Dugamingshi and Dugayamo had walked up to Ranmil and were expressing their gratitude. Thank you, Princess, for choosing us. We'll do whatever we can to help you get up those stairs. My family is grateful for this as well. Princess. Feng Lu rushed over to Ranmil's side and grabbed her hand. She looked as if she was going to lose her mind as she yelled, Princess, we want to stay with you as well. We're not close to Feng Wu at all. Please choose me. Please. Ranmil frowned and said, but I don't have any places left. I can't. Mengshi, help me. Please help me. Feng Lu grabbed Dugamingshi's hands and wrapped herself around him. Dugamingshi felt conflicted. Feng Lu was the woman he loved, so how could he bring himself to sister? As usual, Dugamingshi turned to his sister for help. Dugayamo was infuriated. Dugamingshi, you're not giving away your place. She glared at Dugamingshi. Dugamingshi was speechless. He didn't want to give up his own place. He just thought that what if his sister? Dugayamo had no idea what Dugamingshi was thinking at the moment. If she did, she would probably pass out. Dugayamo asked Feng Lu, don't you love Mingshi? Yes, I do. I love him more than my own life. Feng Lu said eagerly. Dugayamo said, if that's the case, why are you troubling him? If he swaps places with you, he'll die. Since you love him so much, why don't you let him go? I'm begging you. Feng Lu was dumbfounded. Let Dugamingshi go? Then what about her? All of a sudden, whoosh, Feng Lu took out a dagger from her sleeve and cut her own wrist open. Arg! Lu! Dugamingshi pulled Feng Lu into his arms and was almost in tears. Lu, why are you doing this? Lu! Chapter 1921 Quarrel. Chapter 1921 Quarrel. Mengshi. Feng Lu held Duga Mengshi's handsome face in her hands and burst into tears. Mengshi, I don't want to be parted from you. The survival team has the young lords and the seventh prince, and we may not lose. I can stay with this team, but if we're in two different teams, one of us is going to win and the other is bound to lose. I don't care if I die. I just want to be with you, Mengshi. Blood ran down Feng Lu's wrist as she cried. Hearing this, Feng Wu smiled a little. Feng Lu was so full of lies that Duga Mengshi was probably the only one who still believed her. As expected, Duga Mengshi turned around and looked at Duga Yamo with teary eyes. Sister, please let us stay together. Please give your place to Lu. Duga Yamo was astonished. Duga Mengshi held Feng Lu in his arms and knelt down, crying so hard that he trembled. Sister, please give her place to Lu. I'm begging you. Duga Yamo was speechless. That was probably the most hurtful thing she had ever heard. Even Feng Wu felt sorry for Duga Yamo. All she wanted was to protect her brother, but her brother was basically asking her to die for his woman. Duga Yamo stared at Duga Mengshi, so angry that she didn't know what to say. When the others weren't looking, Ranmil's eyes glinted coldly. She loved to see how people showed their true selves in a moment like this. How wonderful. But she was forced to play this innocent girl in front of other people, which was very tiresome. Crack! Just then, the ground started to crack open. Master Ju frowned and reminded them in a cold voice, "We don't have much time left." Ranmil nodded and told Feng Lu, "If you don't want to be on Feng Wu's team, of course we can take you, but the places are limited. How about this? You and Duga Yamo will draw lots, and the winner will be with us." Before they could say anything, Ranmil glanced at Sapphiro. She wouldn't do such petty things, because that would only be belittling herself. Sapphiro took the hint, turned around, and soon produced two bamboo sticks of different lengths. She told Duga Yamo and Feng Lu, "Pick one then. The one with the longer stick can be on our team." The lucky draw would probably decide who lived and who died. Duga Yamo hesitated. Feng Lu and Duga Mengshi looked at each other and immediately walked up to Sapphiro. "Sister, I'll do it for you." Duga Mengshi reached out. "No, let me—" But Duga Mengshi had picked the stick before Duga Yamo could finish her sentence. "Now let's see what you got." Sapphiro was very curious. "Sister, here's your stick." Duga Mengshi showed it to Duga Yamo. With one look, they could tell who had picked the longer stick. It was Feng Lu. Ah. Chapter 1922, You Tampered with It. Chapter 1922, You Tampered with It. Duga Yamo's scream filled the hall. She stared at the short stick in her hand and looked like she had been struck by lightning. This meant that she had to join the survival team. Ha 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 ha. Feng Lu almost jumped to her feet. She had picked the longer stick. "I'm going to live. Ha ha ha. Mengshi, I won. We can be together. Even if we die, we'll die together." Yes. Duga Mengshi held Feng Lu in excitement. Duga Yamo had yet to recover from her astonishment. She stared at the short stick in her hand and saw that it seemed to have been snapped. She then recalled how Duga Mengshi had rushed out to do it for her and what he said earlier. She immediately realized what had happened and glared at Duga Mengshi. "It was you. You snapped my stick, didn't you? You tampered with it." Duga Mengshi looked dumbfounded. "Sister, I didn't." Duga Yamo tried to smack Duga Mengshi. "You bastard. I'm going to kill you. You're going to kill your own sister for an outsider. I've been so good to you since we were little, and this is how you repay me. You dirty swine." Duga Mengshi said matter-of-factly, "Sister, how can you say that? I did no such thing." But Duga Yamo was on the verge of a nervous breakdown, and she wouldn't listen to him. She lashed out at him, looking as if she wanted to eat him alive. They had been loving siblings only a moment ago, but now they had become enemies. Sapphiro and Ranmil exchanged satisfied looks. It was so nice to see people torn apart. Feng Wu narrowed her eyes when she saw this. The White Fairy was right. Ranmil was an evil person and a tough enemy. "That's enough. You're giving me a headache. Sapphiro threw a dirty look at them. That's it, so stop arguing. They cheated. This is cheating. Duguyamo wouldn't have it and went on screaming. Sapphiro snapped. Did you see it with your own eyes? Do you have any proof? Duguyamo said. Sapphiro said, if not, you're slandering them. Miss Duguyu. Sapphiro glanced at Feng Wu's team and suddenly chuckled. Look, you have some very capable people there. There's young Lord Feng, young Lord Xian, and the seventh prince. They're all spiritual lords. Maybe your team will win in the end. Ha ha ha. Duguyamo was almost in tears. How's that possible? The survival team has never won before. Sapphiro said, you may become the first winning survival team. Then, who knows? Ha ha. Princess. She wanted to beg Ranmil for help, but Ranmil only gave her a there's nothing I can do look. Just then, crack, a wall suddenly rose in the center of the hall and surged all the way up. It was like a dark shadow. Chapter 1923, Xiao Wu, help me. Chapter 1923, Xiao Wu, help me. When they finally realized what was happening, a black wall had appeared between the two teams. It completely separated the two teams. The wall rose so fast that Duguyamo didn't even have time to see the satisfied smile on Feng Lu's face. Everything suddenly quieted down. Finally, those annoying people are finally gone. I'm so happy. Feng Sun laughed when he saw that the other team was blocked by the wall. Feng Wu pressed her ear to the wall and listened carefully. No matter how hard she listened, she couldn't hear anything. It was as if there was no one on the other side. The other side should have reacted to Feng Sun's words if they heard him, but Feng Wu could hear any reaction at all. That was to say, the two teams were separated for good. Feng Sun had no idea of Feng Wu's careful observation and was genuinely very happy. Xiao Wu, those annoying people are finally gone. We're finally on our own. Aren't you happy? Feng Wu looked at him helplessly. You really don't feel any pressure at all, do you? Feng Sun looked at Feng Wu and asked, what pressure? Feng Wu said, don't worry about it. How can you not feel any pressure? Duguyamo stepped out and yelled at Feng Wu. Didn't you hear what the Black Robe Ghost King said? We're the survival team. We're the abandoned ones. We're all going to die. Feng Wu didn't know what to say. Duguyamo stressed again. We're going to die. We really are. I'm sure of it. Feng Wu didn't even look at her. She knew that Duguyamo had almost been driven crazy by her brother. Feng Sun threw a dirty look at Duguyamo. I don't know about you, but we're not going to die. Duguyamo was perplexed. Young Lord Feng, why are you so confident of that? Feng Sun said matter-of-factly, because we have Xiao Wu. Feng Wu, Duguyamo looked confused. What's that supposed to mean? Is she going to save us? Feng Sun found the question idiotic. Of course she is. You have no idea how awesome she is. Do you remember when we were in the treasure hall? Of course Duguyamo remembered. How could she forget? Feng Sun said, Xiao Wu wasn't there at the time, so I asked for her help in my head. You saw how it turned out. I was so lucky. Do you remember what I found? Duguyamo said the purple sun sword, the blowing snow sword, and their corresponding swordplay manuals. Feng Sun gloated. That's right. All I did was ask for Xiao Wu's blessing in my head, and luck was on my side. Xiao Wu is here with us now. We're going to be very lucky. He then gave Duguyamo a contemptuous glance. Our team is going to win, and that's all you need to think about. Forget about everything else. Duguyamo smiled bitterly. Forget about everything else? How could she? She couldn't see how they were going to win. She leaned against the wall and looked like she had already lost all hope. Feng Sun was going to speak again, when Feng Wu shook her head. Enough chit-chat. Don't you know that we only have half the time of the other team to get through the trials? Chapter 1924. You can have my life. Chapter 1924. You can have my life. Yes, that's right. Feng Sun smacked his head and went to look for the staircase. Feng Wu knew why Rammel's team was deemed the chosen team. For instance, on their side, the staircase was right there in the open and they could just climb it. Whereas for the survival team, they needed to first find the staircase that could lead them to the next level. In her team, Feng Wu could only depend on herself, Feng Sun, and Xianyi. As for Jun Linyun, she would call a blessing if he didn't bring them even more trouble. She simply ignored Dugu Yamo, Feng Sang, and Feng Iran. Just then, someone shrieked at that moment. Feng Wu turned around with a frown and saw that Feng Sang was standing by the wall with a dagger over her head. It had a very thin blade. The dagger was about 10 centimeters long and glinted faintly in the dim light. It was quite creepy. Where did that come from? Feng Wu frowned and had a bad feeling. By then, Feng Sun and the others had come back. Xiao Wu, we've searched everywhere. There are no stairs. Feng Wu looked at Xian. Xian, he silently shook his head as well. Feng Wu then turned to Jun Linyun. Jun Linyun shook his head. There's nothing, my goddess. Is it possible that there are no stairs at all? Feng Yiran spoke first. Stop trying. You won't find anything. His face was full of despair as he leaned against the wall. He had given up. Everyone looked at him. Feng Yiran smiled bitterly. Didn't you notice? The hall was split in half, and the chosen team was on the side with the stairs. We have nothing on our side. How are we going to find it? Feng Yiran's words silenced everyone. Yes, how are they supposed to find something that wasn't there? Do you have no hope at all? Feng Sun frowned. Feng Sang smiled wryly. Didn't we lose all hope the moment we were assigned to this team? So, you're going to give up just like that? Feng Wu glanced at them. Dugu Yamo smirked. Or what? Are you going to get us out of here? Feng Sun stared at her. What's with that attitude? Dugu Yamo was half crazy by then, and she stared back at the young lord. What attitude? We're going to die. Why should I care? We're going to die? Says who? Feng Wu was as calm as usual. Ha. Are you going to save us all? You can't be that delusional. Dugu Yamo guffawed. What if I can? Feng Wu glanced at her. If you can, Dugu Yamo cut her wrist open with a dagger. Blood splashed everywhere. That must hurt a lot. Feng Sang frowned. Dugu Yamo stared at Feng Wu, moved closer, and whispered, If you can get me out of here, I swear that my life is yours from now on. Chapter 1925, Onlooker. Chapter 1925, Onlooker. Feng Wu said, All right. By the way, Xiao Wu. Feng Sun smacked his head as he remembered something. He then handed Feng Wu an item. This is for you. It was a brocade box that looked quite shabby. Guess what's inside? Feng Sun sounded quite pleased with himself. Feng Wu glanced at him. Is it a substitute talisman? What? Feng Sun looked like he had seen a ghost. How do you know that? Can you see through the box? Feng Wu opened it and saw that it really was a substitute talisman. She put it away with a smile and patted Feng Sun on the arm. I helped you get it. Of course I know what it is. You helped me? You weren't even there. But thanks to your blessing, I was so... Before he could finish, whoosh, a flying dagger came at Feng Wu. It glinted coldly and was as fast as an arrow. Watch out! Feng Sun stepped out and caught the thin blade between his fingers. Is someone throwing weapons at us from some hidden corner? Feng Sun frowned. Show me. Feng Wu took the dagger and studied it. Seeing the material it was made from, how sharp it was, and its speed, Feng Wu's face darkened. Xiao Wu, what's wrong? Feng Sun realized that something wasn't right. It seems that our real trial has begun. Everyone get ready. Feng Wu shouted. Xiao Wu. Feng Sun and the others were all confused. Feng Wu said, This flying dagger wasn't thrown by a person. If I'm correct, it's from a trigger mechanism, and it's only an early warning. The real battle hasn't even started yet. Ha 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 ha. Just then, they heard someone guffawing above them. That laughter. Everyone looked up, and there it was. The malicious black-robed Ghost King's giant face was laughing again. Kiddo, you're correct. That was just a little hello. Your Grace. The others cried out in unison. The Ghost King stared at Feng Wu, enjoying the feeling of being in control. You can ask one question. Ask away, the Ghost King gloated. Can I switch to the Chosen? Feng Wu covered Feng Sang's mouth before she could finish. If she really asked that question, their only chance would be wasted. Luckily, Feng Sun was clever enough and asked immediately, "How do we find the stairs?" "Ha ha boy, you've asked the right question." The Ghost King laughed. "It's very straightforward. The staircase will open when you defeat the boss on each level. And here's a bonus. The chosen team doesn't need to do this. They just need to find the chance to run up those stairs." Ha ha ha. He was obviously very happy being an onlooker. But Feng Wu and her team weren't happy at all. "Boss, what's that?" "I think it's something like the overlord of each floor. The other team has double our time. They don't have to defeat the bosses and only have to run up the stairs. That's why their level is difficult and ours is hell. This mission is impossible." They were still discussing it when Chapter 1926, Untitled. Chapter 1926, Untitled. Whoosh. Suddenly, they heard the sound of something ripping through the air. "It's the flying dagger again," Feng Sun shouted, dragging Feng Wu back to stand behind him. In the dim light, they could see the sharp blades glinting in the air. They were everywhere, and it was getting very dangerous. One would be severely injured if they were hit. "Arg, that hurts!" Among the sound of clashing blades, someone screamed. It was Feng Sang. She must have been hurt. Just then, "Arg, I'm injured too." Duguyamo cried out as well. Feng Sun was protecting Feng Wu, moving his purple sun swords so fast that nothing could get to them. He said, "Xiao Wu, you really are my lucky star." Feng Wu looked at him in confusion. Feng Sun said, "Because you helped me find the purple sun sword in the manual in the treasure hall earlier, I learned 2 moves when I wasn't busy. They're so useful now. See? No blade can get near us. Hee hee." While Feng Sun was feeling satisfied, Feng Wu was rather anxious. Because she remembered clearly that the Black Robe Ghost King had stressed repeatedly that they only had half the time of the other team. What if they couldn't pass the trial within that time and couldn't get to the next floor? What would they have to face? Death. Death in this place should be real, just like what happened to Zhuo Qingyu and Zhuo Qingxian. Feng Wu didn't want to die. She still had a lot of plans she had to carry out. When she looked again, she saw that Feng Sun was having difficulty in stopping the daggers now. She looked up and frowned. There had only been about 100 daggers flying around at first, but now there were at least 1,000 of them. They were everywhere and had a ferocious air about them. Feng Sun had been able to chat with her at first, but he was frowning now, and sweat covered his forehead. Feng Yiran, Feng Sang, and Duguyamo were all hiding behind Feng Wu, who was in turn behind Feng Sun. That was a lot of pressure on one man. Feng Sun, Xian Yi, and Jun Linyan used everything they knew to wave their swords as fast as they could. Slowly, they moved closer together and formed a triangle. That was the only way they could protect the others behind them. "Can you take it?" asked Feng Wu. She was worried when she saw a cut on Feng Sun's arm. Feng Sun smiled bitterly. "Luckily, I have the purple sun sword. I would be dead by now if I were using some other sword." The sound of metal colliding continued. Feng Sun whispered to Feng Wu as he started a little storm with his sword. "Xiao Wu, I can't go on like this forever. 1 more minute. That's the most I can do." 1 minute. Feng Wu frowned and started thinking. While she was thinking calmly, those behind her couldn't stand it. 1 minute at most? Feng Sun, what do you mean? What happens after a minute? Are you saying that we can only live for another minute? Didn't Feng Wu brag about getting us out of here? We can't even make it through the first floor? Chapter 1927, Untitled. Chapter 1927, Untitled. Duguyamo, Feng Yiran, and Feng Sang couldn't stop any daggers, but they had tongues sharper than any blade. Feng Sun was frustrated. He was protecting these people, but they were accusing him now. How incredible. He then deliberately missed a dagger. Whoosh! The dagger flew past him. Arg! Feng Sang held her right arm and shrieked. Feng Sun smirked. "I don't have the energy to quarrel with you now, but don't worry. I never take my revenge the second day, if I can do it now." He had just admitted that he had done it on purpose. Feng Sang wanted to retort, but Feng Sun's threat scared her too much. She could only bite her lower lip and remain silent. Feng Sun's plan worked. Just then, whoosh, the countless flying daggers all quietly fell to the floor and stopped moving. Feng Sun's eyes widened. Is this it? They've stopped moving. Are they admitting their defeat now? Have we passed the trial? Feng Wu frowned. They were winning. Why would they give up? Feng Sun tilted his head and said, have we passed some sort of time limit? So the Ghost King let us win. Feng Wu rolled her eyes at him. It was obvious that the Black Robe Ghost King was a very biased judge. He wanted everything to play out his way. Unfortunately, the survival team wasn't his favorite. He preferred the other team. Therefore, the Ghost King would never let them go so easily. Watch out! Feng Wu stared at Feng Sun. If I've guessed correctly, the battle has just started. Ha ha! There was the guffaw from the ceiling again. It was the onlooker, the Black Robe Ghost King. Very clever. That's right, we're just getting started. You've only experienced the difficult level. Now, the hell level has begun. Ha ha! Feng Wu frowned. She didn't like the Ghost King's attitude. It was as if everyone were only playthings to him, despite the fact that they were fighting for their lives. Damn you, Feng Wu thought with clenched fists. She decided that she would find the chance to punch him in the nose. I know how much you want to punch me. You'll get the chance, as long as you can get to the 7th floor. Unfortunately, you're going to die here. Ha ha! With a wave of his hand, the motionless flying daggers started to make crackling sounds. Shit! Feng Sun cried out. They're sticking to each other now. He turned around and told Feng Wu, look, the flying daggers were moving individually before, but now they're gathering together. They become a flying sword. The flying sword would be several times more powerful than the daggers. Feng Sun paled, and the others felt even worse. Feng Iran, Feng Sang, and Dugi Yamo shook from head to toe. Oh shit, we're going to die. I thought we would have a chance, but we can't even get past the 1st floor. What else can Feng Wu do apart from brag? Since they thought they were going to die, they didn't care about anything else. They ignored Feng Sun's threat and started complaining. Chapter 1928. Chapter 1928, Untitled. What was Feng Wu doing? She was racking her brain with a big frown on her face. What could it be? Feng Wu narrowed her eyes, kept her gaze straight forward, and remained motionless. Just then, an idea seemed to strike her for a brief moment, but it flashed by so fast that by the time Feng Wu realized it, it was gone. Feng Wu tried very hard to think, but she just couldn't recall it. Thump, thump, thump. Just then, they heard the loud noise of a beating heart. What's that? They turned in the direction of the sound and saw a red heart behind them. It was only the size of a baby's fist, but the sound it made was very loud. Where did that heart come from? Was it there before? Listen, it's beating forcibly. Hey, don't you think that it's expanding? It is. It was only the size of a baby's fist just then, but it's the size of an adult fist now. And it's growing as we speak. Why do I have a bad feeling? Why does my heart feel like it's going to explode? Feng Wu was the first to figure it out. If I've guessed correctly, it's a timer. Feng Wu took a deep breath. We'll fail this trial when that heart explodes. Feng Sun said, so if it explodes, Feng Wu said, it'll mean that we've lost. And the consequence would be, everyone's pupils contracted as they looked at the growing heart. It wasn't a sign of life. It was the herald of death. Crack! The daggers had gathered together by now. Every 100 blades combined into a sword. Whoosh! A sword charged at them, and it was several times more powerful than the daggers. It cut Feng Sun's arm open, the wound so deep that everybody could see bone. Seeing this, Dugi Yamo was filled with despair. Oh no, I'm really going to die this time. Feng Lu, I'll never forgive you. Whoosh! As more swords charged at them, Feng Sun was covered in more and more cuts. He wasn't alone. Xian, Yi, and Jun Linyun were injured as well. Dugi Yamo, Feng Iran, and Feng Sang all had cuts on them, and their clothes were stained with blood. Feng Sang stared jealously at Feng Wu. Shielded by Feng Sun, Xian Yi, and Jun Linyun, Feng Wu was unscathed. Not only wasn't she hurt, she didn't need to do anything. Feng Sang bellowed. Feng Wu, how long are you going to hide behind them? Aren't you supposed to be so awesome? Didn't you say that you were going to get us out of here? What are you doing now? Are you going to hide behind them forever? You're shameless. Duguyamo looked at Feng Wu and smirked. She's always bragging about herself. Do you actually expect her to control these daggers? Chapter 1929. Chapter 1929, Untitled. Duguyamo and Feng Sang wouldn't stop criticizing Feng Wu, but after hearing what Duguyamo said, Feng Wu became very quiet. Control the blades. Control the blades. A blade cut Feng Sun's cheek open, and blood splashed everywhere, but he didn't even frown. He turned to look at the heart on the wall, the thing that Feng Wu called timer. By then, it had grown to the size of a plate, and they could clearly see the blood vessels in it. The wall of the heart was getting thinner and thinner. It was as if it was going to explode the next second. This time, Feng Sun was really anxious. He turned around and saw that Feng Wu was still frowning and deep in thought. Xiao Wu, we're all counting on you. We can't hold on for much longer, thought Feng Sun. All of a sudden, an idea struck Feng Wu, and this time she caught it in time. I got it. Feng Wu grabbed Feng Sun in excitement. I know what to do. Feng Sun, give me that magnet. Quickly. The magnet. Feng Sun looked puzzled. How do you know I have that? Feng Sun had found the magnet in the treasure hall. It wasn't a top-notch treasure, and he didn't know what to do with it, so he just casually stuffed it into his pocket. Feng Wu said, I let you find it. Of course I know you have it. Give it to me. Feng Sun smiled wryly. Did you actually believe it when I said that it was because of your blessing? Little Feng Wu, you're so adorable. Feng Wu said the magnet. Time was of the essence here, and Feng Wu didn't want to argue with Feng Sun now. The magnet, the magnet. Feng Sun searched his memory before he smacked his forehead and said, Yes, I did find it, but it was too heavy and I didn't know how to use it, so... Feng Wu stared at Feng Sun. Please don't tell me you threw it away. Feng Sun said, No, I didn't. I just put it on the table and didn't take it with me when I left. Feng Wu stared at Feng Sun and wanted to smack him on the head. You didn't bring it with you. Feng Sun, how can you be so stupid? Feng Wu was so frustrated. That magnet is our key to passing this trial, and you lost it. Feng Sun said, Huh? Feng Wu wanted to bite him. Are you talking about this black stone? Someone asked gingerly behind them. It was Duguyamo. She opened a wooden box, which contained a black stone. This one? Yes. Feng Sun frowned. Why do you have it? Duguyamo said, Young Lord Feng, you couldn't take so many things with you and left this behind, so I picked it up. Even if it isn't a real treasure, I won't look so empty-handed at least. Feng Wu glanced at Duguyamo and nodded. You've done us a great favor. Duguyamo was confused. Really? Can this lousy stone solve our problem? Feng Wu, you must be dreaming. She wasn't the only one who thought that. The others all gave her strange looks as well. Feng Wu didn't explain. She asked Feng Sun, Can you hold on for one more minute? Chapter 1930. Chapter 1930, Untitled. Yes. Feng Sun wiped away the blood on his face. I can even make it 2 minutes if you can solve the trial. Feng Wu nodded. After taking the magnet, Feng Wu crouched down and began to study it. Duguyamo glanced at her and shook her head. She didn't believe that the magnet could solve their problem because it just sounded ridiculous. With a crack, Feng Wu crushed the magnet and poured the black particles onto a piece of white paper. She smiled. Once the black particles were separated, Feng Sun, I need to move through these flying swords for 30 seconds. Can you think of a way for me to do that? Asked Feng Wu. Feng Sun and Xian Yi exchanged a look. Together, the purple sun sword and the blowing snow sword can only buy you 20 seconds. 20 seconds. Feng Wu thought for a moment and nodded. That'll do. She then nodded at Feng Sun. Let's begin. Immediately after that, she was nowhere to be seen. Quickly draw all the flying swords here. Feng ran, Keep hiding there, and I'll come after you. Feng Sun bellowed. I'll use you people as my shield. With nowhere else to hide, Feng Iran and the others had to inch forward and take part in the dangerous battle. Whoosh! Feng Wu ran around the room, making seemingly random turns. No one knew what she was doing. Feng Iran was filled with resentment. Whoosh! He screamed when he failed to dodge a blade. Whoosh! Feng Sang was hit in the chest. Whoosh! Duguyamo was hit in the leg. Whoosh! The blades ripped through the air, and people kept screaming. Even Jun Linyun was wounded in the chest, let alone the others. Luckily, the wound was on the right side. What's Feng Wu doing? Feng Yiran thought angrily. Feng Sun couldn't hold on for much longer. He had no idea what Feng Wu was doing, and was gradually losing hope. Thud, thud, thud. Feng Sun had been stabbed by over a dozen flying daggers by now, but he went on fighting. His vision was going bleary from the loss of blood, and he could barely see. Chase me. Stop picking on them. I'm a captain here. Come on. Standing in an empty spot, Feng Wu provoked the flying swords. At those words, the swords suddenly turned around and charged at Feng Wu, as if they had minds of their own. They all flew at Feng Wu with whooshing sounds. They looked like a swarm of flies. With a murderous energy around them, the blades reminded one of a giant tidal wave. Shit! Xiaowu, my goddess! Xian Yi, Feng Sun, and Jun Linyun had nearly been crushed by the flying swords. But as soon as Feng Wu shouted those words, the swords ignored them and went after Feng Wu. They could take a break now, but what about Feng Wu? The entire room was vibrating with the flying blades. What would happen to Feng Wu? She would be turned into a sea urchin. Xiaowu! Feng Sun was almost in tears. Xiaowu, don't do this. How am I supposed to tell Boss Jun what happened to you? Xiaowu. Feng Iran and the others were all astonished as well. Chapter 1931. Chapter 1931, Untitled. Feng Wu had lured all the flying swords away on her own. Was she such a selfless person? Duguyamo felt a little guilty. She had accused Feng Wu of being heartless and selfish, but as it turned out, Feng Wu had chosen to use such an extreme method to protect them. I'm sorry. I didn't actually expect you to save us. I was just venting my anger on you. Feng, while everyone was digesting the news that Feng Wu had died for them. Hey, why are all of you crying? Feng Wu showed up and greeted them with a smile. What? Feng Wu, you're still alive. Are you not dead? I thought you were dead. Xiaowu. Feng Sun was the most excited of them all. He wrapped his arms around Feng Wu and burst into tears, crying so hard that he almost couldn't breathe. Xiaowu, you're still alive. Xiaowu, I'm so happy. He jumped around and yelled incoherently, and was nothing like the noble young lord he was supposed to be. Feng Wu patted him on the head and looked confused. Why would I be dead? Why did you all think that I died? Do I seem so useless to you? But didn't you die for us just then? Feng Sun started complaining before he wiped away his tears. You silly girl. Who told you to do such a thing? You're never doing that again. Feng Wu was speechless. Why did they think that she would die for them? She cherished her own life very much. All right. Wait, where did the flying swords go? Duguyamo was the first to realize that something wasn't right. Soon, the others realized it as well. As they spoke, there were no daggers flying around in the air. What was going on? Hey, they're there. Look, they're on the wall. Feng Sang shouted. Whoosh. Immediately, all eyes were on the wall. The shiny blades looked like they were glued to the wall and were making rumbling sounds as they tried to break free, but an invisible force seemed to be holding them in place, rendering their efforts futile. Why are all the daggers on the wall? What happened? Feng Sun asked. Xiaowu, did you do that? And what's that shape? I don't understand. Feng Wu chuckled. Well, that shape. It's what I want to tell the owner of the blades. Feng Wu gloated. How strange. Is that a finger? What does it mean? Feng Sun was even more curious. Feng Wu smiled. She had arranged the daggers into the shape of a middle finger. What did it mean? Well, everyone in her previous life should recognize it right away, but here in this world, only she did. It doesn't matter what it means. The most important thing is that I get to vent my anger. Feng Wu breathed out. Xiao Wu, how did you do it? Feng Sun stopped trying to figure out the shape. He was more curious about how Feng Wu had done it. What he saw was... Chapter 1932. Chapter 1932. Untitled. It's because of the magnet, Feng Wu said matter-of-factly. It has opposite magnetic poles. One side will attract the iron, but the other side will repel it. When a magnetic powder of both poles is mixed together, it won't affect the blades, but when they're separated, I can tell one pole from the other. One will attract the iron, while the other won't. Luckily for us, most of the magnetic powder here can attract the iron. Therefore, I try to spray as much magnetic powder on the walls as possible, and they pulled the blades away. Once the blades are caught, it's not easy for them to break free again. Therefore, all I needed to do was arrange the powder in the shape of a finger and wait for the blades to get stuck. That's all. Feng Sun said, I don't understand. Duguyamo shook her head as well. That's too difficult. I don't understand a word. What are you talking about? Feng Wu patted her shoulder with a smile. That's okay. You only need to know that we won. Duguyamo froze on the spot. Feng Wu had just patted her on the shoulder. Feng Wu had made physical contact with her. Should she push Feng Wu away? But that was a friendly gesture. Would it be inappropriate to push her away? Duguyamo felt conflicted. Arg, the heart. Only then did they remember the heart. The constantly expanding heart. When they turned around, they saw that the wall of the heart had grown so thin that the heart could burst at any moment. Phew, they all let out breaths of relief. So we've passed this trial? Feng Sang asked. Before they knew it, they were already treating Feng Wu as the captain of the survival team. Crack! A rope ladder dropped from above. Feng Wu smiled a little. That's right. We passed the trial. Yeah, everyone smiled excitedly. Duguyamo didn't join the others as they celebrated, but only studied Feng Wu carefully. How was Feng Wu able to solve the problem for them? Duguyamo still couldn't figure out how the magnet got the daggers stuck to the wall. The second floor? Here we go. Feng Wu led the team, followed by Feng Sun, Xin Yi, Junlin Yun, Feng Iran, Feng Sang, and Duguyamo. While Duguyamo's attitude toward Feng Wu was changing, Feng Iran and Feng Sang remained the same. They didn't need a reason to dislike her. What would they find on the second floor? Xiao Wu, what do you think we'll find on the second floor? Feng Sun asked curiously. Feng Wu said, the flying daggers on the first floor are metal. If we find wood on the second floor, we'll be able to deduce the elements to be found on the floors after that. Tee, Feng Sang chuckled. Feng Sun frowned. Why are you laughing? Feng Sang said, I'm laughing because someone sounds so sure when all she's doing is making a guess. I'm so impressed. Chapter 1933. Chapter 1933, Untitled. Feng Sun frowned because he didn't like the way Feng Sang put it. However, they arrived at the second floor before he could say anything. Only then did they realize what the black-robed Ghost King was talking about when he said that each floor was a different world of its own. The second floor was filled with vibrant green plants. The ground was covered by grass and meter-high bushes, but the most eye-catching object was a tree. What a tree! The trunk of the tree was so thick that 10 people would barely get their arms around it. The branches seemed to extend outward forever. Feng Wu estimated that they were nearly 1,000 meters long. The tree was so tall that the top seemed to touch the clouds. Other than the grass, the brushes, and the trees, there was nothing else. There were no birds, bugs, or beasts of any kind. This place is full of the wood element. Feng Sun shifted his gaze away from the tree and glanced at Feng Sang. Considering what she had said a moment ago, what they saw on the second floor was like a slap to Feng Sang's face. There was so much wood here. Feng Sang was speechless. She should have kept her mouth shut. Feng Sun went back to studying the small world, but he still couldn't figure out what they were supposed to do. Thump, thump, thump. He heard a familiar sound. Feng Sun's stomach lurched. His eyes widened as he tried to figure out where the sound was coming from. There, Duguyamo was the first to spot it. A beating heart dangled from one of the branches. It was still quite small and about the size of a baby's fist. But everyone drew in their breaths because they had experienced it once. The heart would rapidly grow big before it exploded. And once it did, everyone would die. Seeing that the heart was beating fast and expanding as they watched, Feng Sun paled. He asked Feng Wu, Xiao Wu, have you figured out what we're supposed to do in this trial? There was a giant tree and some grass. If there wasn't a question, how were they supposed to solve it? Everyone was baffled. Even Feng Wu was confused, let alone Feng Sun. All eyes were on Feng Wu now. She frowned and said the truth. I don't know. SSSS. Immediately, everyone paled. If even Feng Wu had no answer. How can you not know? Duguyamo stared at Feng Wu. Feng Wu looked at her in bewilderment. Why must I know? Duguyamo said. Aren't you the team leader? A team leader is supposed to know everything. Even if you don't, the least you can do is to comfort us by not telling us the truth. Feng Wu didn't know what to say. She found Duguyamo's suggestion idiotic. I'm sorry, but I'm the youngest one here. It's not my duty to spoil you people. That successfully shut Duguyamo up. Only then did they realize something. Feng Wu was indeed the youngest one here. Moreover, there were 5 years when she hadn't been able to cultivate. Immediately, everyone fell silent. The air felt so heavy that they had difficulty breathing. Thump, thump, thump. The disturbing heart wasn't affected at all. It went on thumping. Chapter 1934. Chapter 1934, Untitled. How terrifying. Ha ha. Just then, they heard familiar laughter. It's the black-robed Ghost King. They had found the Ghost King intimidating at first, but now, his voice somehow felt so kind. As expected, the giant face appeared in the air again. Silly kids, you can only keep on waiting if I don't tell you what this trial is about. Then the heart will explode, and you'll all be buried, and there'll be nothing left of you. Ha ha ha, I can't wait to see that. Hearing this, everyone was filled with despair. The Ghost King had an erratic temper, and no one could anticipate what he would do. Moreover, he was so powerful that when he laughed, the air seemed to tear open. Everyone felt their eardrums prickle and their heads swim. No, you won't do that. While Feng Sun and the others were too shocked to speak, Feng Wu stepped out. The Ghost King, who had been guffawing, now stared at Feng Wu with an eerie, malicious look in his eyes. Immediately, everyone fell silent. Feng Sun was worried about Feng Wu. This was the black-robed Ghost King's territory, and they were all at his mercy. Feng Wu was pushing it too far. Immediately, the Ghost King turned to look at Feng Wu. What did you say? He narrowed his eyes, and the pressure in the room seemed to increase. Feng Wu smiled. I said that you won't do that. Whoosh! A dark shadow flitted through the air. The next second, Feng Wu was snatched up by the Ghost King. Poor Feng Wu hung, suspended in the air, with the Ghost King's giant hand around her neck. He could kill her at any moment. Xiao Wu! Feng Sun jumped. His pupils contracted, and his heart raced. But the black-robed Ghost King was too powerful for him to do anything. Feng Sun, Xian Yi, and Jun Linyan all drew out their swords. They were ready to charge out. But Feng Wu gestured behind her back for them to stop. Xiao Wu. At the thought of how smart Feng Wu was, Feng Sun gritted his teeth and stopped the others. Wait! The black-robed Ghost King paid no attention to Feng Sun. Staring at Feng Wu, he asked why. Feng Wu said, because you don't like to follow the rules. You like to have fun and be a happy onlooker. It's not that you want the chosen team to win. Rather, you're just used to seeing them win. Before the Ghost King could say anything, Feng Wu quickly said, but do you like such a predictable outcome? After all these years, haven't you had enough? The Ghost King had planned to snap Feng Wu's neck, but hearing this, he paused. Feng Wu talked even faster now. We're called the survival team because that's what we're supposed to do. We need to fight with all we can to make the impossible possible. I bet you've never seen such a thing happen before. Chapter 1935. Chapter 1935, Untitled. Fengwu kept her unblinking gaze on the Ghost King. She was betting that he would enjoy that. No one dared to make a sound. Feng Sun and the others stared at the Ghost King's hand, worried that he might throttle Fengwu. Fengwu stared at the Ghost King. The look on the Ghost King's lean face was proud and indescribable. He suddenly frowned. The air seemed to freeze. Fengwu's stomach lurched. All of a sudden, ha 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 ha. The black-robed Ghost King suddenly burst out laughing. Ha ha. Once he started, he couldn't stop. Fengwu was finally a little relieved. She had probably made the right choice. As expected, the Ghost King released her neck, patted her slim shoulder, and chuckled. Kid, I didn't know you're such a good storyteller. Good, very good. I was going to throttle you. Do you know why? He stared at Fengwu. Fengwu said, because I know the White Fairy. The Ghost King gave her another look. That's right. You've gained her recognition, which is why I don't like you. With the cold look in his eyes, the Ghost King looked very intimidating. However, he suddenly burst out laughing and patted Fengwu's thin arm hard. Ha ha ha. You're an interesting girl. No wonder she treats you differently. I like what you said. I think I'll give it a go. The Ghost King gave her an appreciative look and said slowly, the second trial is quite straightforward. There are 1,000,000 4-leaf flowers here, and you need to find a 3-leaf flower. He pointed at the growing heart dangling from the tree. Before it explodes. If you can find it, I'll tell you the objective for the next floor. The Ghost King then rubbed Fengwu's head before he disappeared. Everyone was speechless. They had no idea that things would turn out this way. Did the Ghost King let Fengwu go just like that? He told Fengwu the objective just like that. He even rubbed her head before he left. Feng Iran, Feng Sang, and Duga Yamo looked at one another, and no one knew what to say. Feng Sun finally realized what had happened. Seeing Fengwu land on the ground, he took her hand excitedly. Xiao Wu, is the Ghost King helping us? Fengwu didn't feel so optimistic. She shook her head. If I've guessed right, this is the death level, because the hell level should have given us a hint. Feng Sun opened his eyes wide and said angrily, Are you saying that the Ghost King tricked us? Fengwu shrugged. Even if he did, do we have a choice? Feng Sun was rendered speechless. They were in the Ghost King's territory, and he was the one calling the shots. Feng Sun couldn't do a thing. Luckily, he's neutral now and has given us a fair chance, Fengwu said seriously. Duga Yamo said, How can it be fair? We're still at hell level with half the amount of time. Chapter 1936. Chapter 1936, Untitled. Fengwu smiled. Even so, we can still complete the trial. Duga Yamo wouldn't believe it. The branches of this tree cover an area of over 1,000 meters. How are we supposed to find one flower out of 1,000,000? Everyone fell silent as soon as Duga Yamo said those words. Yes, 1 in 1,000,000. How are they going to find it? Feng Sun frowned. We still need to look for it. What are all of you doing? Start searching. Seeing that Fengwu was deep in thought, Feng Sun gave the order. I'll search the east side. Xian, you will search the west. The prince will do the south. And as for the north, Feng Iran, the three of you had better work hard. Feng Sun was considered an authoritative figure here. Seeing that Fengwu didn't object, everyone started searching. But the tree was simply too big, and it felt like they were searching an ocean. How were they going to find one flower out of 1,000,000? It wouldn't be so bad if there wasn't a time limit. If they had unlimited time, they could search each flower in turn until they found it. But now, time was of the essence. This heart won't last more than 15 minutes. Rubbing her chin, Fengwu was deep in thought. It's too difficult to find one flower out of 1,000,000. Feng Iran was the first to give up 3 minutes later. He ran up to Fengwu, stared at her, and shook his head. No, it's an impossible task. Fengwu looked back at him. Feng Yuan said, I focused all my attention on it for the past 3 minutes. I didn't dare go any faster because I was afraid that I might miss it. In 3 minutes, I was only able to search 300 flowers. At that rate, the heart will explode in 15 minutes, Feng Wu said quietly. Feng Yuan became even more despairing. 15 minutes? That means I can only search a few thousand at most. I can't even do 10,000. Frustrated, he grabbed his hair and growled desperately. What should we do now? Seeing this, Feng Sang also stopped searching and ran to their side. She stared at Feng Wu and said seriously, It's impossible. We have to find another way, or the explosion will kill us. Suddenly, Feng Yuan looked up and stared at Feng Wu. The look in his eyes gave her the creeps. Xiao Wu, Feng Yuan took her hands. Xiao Wu, the black-robed ghost king likes you, doesn't he? He complimented you, right? He was friendly to you. Feng Yuan, what do you mean? Hearing the commotion, Feng Sun stopped what he was doing, ran to Feng Wu's side, and shoved Feng Yuan away. Feng Yuan said matter-of-factly, I'm just begging Xiao Wu. Since the ghost king likes Xiao Wu, I'm sure he'll listen to her if she begs him. Right? Right? Feng Yuan looked like a drowning man clutching a straw as he shook from head to toe. You're nuts. Feng Sun kicked him away. Feng Yuan flew a long distance, but he soon stumbled back and yelled at Feng Sun. The mission is impossible. You come up with an idea, then. Chapter 1937. Chapter 1937, Untitled. Feng Yuan pointed at the heart. Do you see that? It'll last for 15 minutes at most. 15 minutes later, it'll explode. And we'll all die. All of us. Feng Yuan pointed at Feng Wu. If she can help us, why won't she do it? Are you an idiot? Feng Sun kicked him in frustration. How is she supposed to do that? Feng Yuan said the Ghost King is obviously interested in her, so all she needs to do is... Boom! Feng Sun was furious. The guy was Feng Wu's family. How could he say such a thing? Go to hell. Feng Sun began to throw punches at Feng Yuan. Feng Sun was scared. That black-robed Ghost King was unpredictable, and no one knew what he was thinking. What if he had never thought that way? And Feng Yuan's words suddenly gave him ideas. Please forgive me. Forgive me. Feng Yuan spat out mouthfuls of blood. Brother, are you all right? Feng Sang rushed out and shielded her brother. Feng Wu frowned and told Feng Sun, I still need him. Don't kill him just yet. And go examine the flowers. Do as many as you can. Feng Sun was still angry, but Feng Wu had spoken. Feng Sun gave Feng Yuan one last kick. You get to live for a few more minutes. He quickly ran off after that. Time ticked by, but their progress was so slow. 3 minutes, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 12 minutes. He would look back at Feng Wu every now and then. They only had 3 minutes left, but Xiao Wu was still walking back and forth under the tree. Would she be able to come up with something? 13 minutes, 14 minutes. Soon, there was only 1 minute left. What would she do? Everyone was asking the question in their heads. Xiao Wu. They couldn't go on searching anymore. All their eyes had gone blurry. That heart is going to explode. Are we going to die this time? They all lost hope. Jun Linyun still wanted to try his luck. We may not die even if the heart explodes, right? Maybe he was just bluffing. Ha ha. Just then, the familiar face appeared in the air again. I'm bluffing? You're so funny. The black-robed Ghost King smirked. I'll show you what the explosion will do. After that, the Ghost King waved his hand. White light flashed, and the heart was about to explode. Everyone paled. Wait! Feng Wu stepped out at the critical moment. There's 1 minute left. We haven't failed yet. Please wait. Feng Wu looked at the black-robed Ghost King. Since this is a game to you, you have to follow the rules. Feng Wu stared at the Ghost King. The Ghost King looked at her with cold eyes. Are you threatening me? Feng Wu said, No, I'm only reminding you. The Ghost King glared at Feng Wu. Chapter 1938. Chapter 1938, Untitled. Feng Wu said. 20 seconds have passed since then. If you're trying to stall us, so that the chosen team can win, I have nothing to say. Despite the black-robed Ghost King's intimidating power, Feng Wu wasn't scared. The look in her eyes remained undaunted. Hearing that, the Ghost King smirked. Fine. I'd like to see how you turn things around in the last 40 seconds. I can't wait. How are they going to do that? Feng Sun and the others all looked at Feng Wu. Feng Sun smiled bitterly. Even if they had 40 seconds left, what good would it do? They were doomed to fail, weren't they? But Feng Wu smiled because an idea had just struck her. I know how to find a 3-leaf flower. 30 seconds are more than enough. Feng Wu smiled at the black-robed Ghost King and walked up to the giant old tree. 30 seconds. Impossible. Of course, the black-robed Ghost King didn't believe her. He wasn't the only one. The others didn't believe her either. They had worked so hard and were only able to examine a few dozen thousand flowers in total. How could Feng Wu find it in as short as 30 seconds? But Feng Wu didn't have time to explain. She walked right up to the giant old tree and put her fair hand on the tree trunk. Is she searching with her mental power? Duguyamo frowned. I tried that. It doesn't work. Feng Sun nodded as well. It was true. He had tried with his mental power as well, but it wasn't efficient enough. It would be impossible for Feng Wu to find a flower in 30 seconds. She's bragging. Feng Sang snorted. We only have 30 seconds left, and she's still bragging. What's wrong with her? Feng Sun glared at her. Shut up. Xiao Wu will do it. Feng Sang retorted. How is she going to do it, then? With her mental power? That rendered Feng Sun speechless. Feng Sang said, how could she possibly succeed? If we die here, what will become of us? The black-robed Ghost King glanced at Feng Sang. After you die, you'll obviously become ghosts. Arg. No, I don't want to become a ghost. Feng Sang and Duguyamo were almost scared to tears. They trembled and wept. I don't want to die. I don't want to stay here forever. I don't. But if Feng Wu lost, that was going to be their end. Feng Sun clenched his fists and kept his gaze on Feng Wu, their last hope. He said, Xiao Wu, you can do it. Jun Linyin said eagerly, my goddess, you're going to get us out of here, aren't you? You're so smart. You're the smartest person I've ever met apart from my brother. Even Xian, he held his breath and stared at Feng Wu. 20 seconds. 10 seconds. Thump, thump, thump. The heart went on beating and expanding. It had almost turned transparent, and blue veins were popping out. Chapter 1939. Chapter 1939, Untitled. It could explode at any moment. With each beat of the heart, Feng Sang and Duguyamo trembled and sobbed. We're going to die. I don't want to die. Duguyamo said, if we can survive this, I won't pick on Feng Wu again. Feng Sang said, if I can get through this, I'll work very hard on my cultivation. I promise. 8 seconds. 7 seconds. 6 seconds. By then, even Feng Sun was trembling. 5 seconds. 4 seconds. 3 seconds. Jun Linyin had lost all hope and murmured, is that it? Are we really going to die? While everyone was panicking, Feng Wu suddenly moved. She jumped into the branches like a nimble cat. Where's Feng Wu? Why can't I see her? Where did she go? Ha ha, it's going to explode in 3, 2... The black-robed Ghost King smirked and was going to count down to 0. Everyone paled, and they were filled with despair. Feng Wu suddenly landed on the ground, and there was a pink 3-leaf flower in her palm, like a little fairy. The black-robed Ghost King's announcement was cut short. He looked like he had just been slapped. Is this the one? Feng Wu beamed at the Ghost King. The Ghost King said, you found it. Feng Wu nodded. If this is the flower you meant. Judging by the astonished look on the Ghost King's face, Feng Wu knew that she had found it. Moreover, Feng Wu looked down at the giant heart. It was the size of a washing basin and was going to explode in another second. Yes, it is. The Ghost King took the flower from Feng Wu and studied it for a while. He then turned to Feng Wu and narrowed his eyes. How did you do it? The others were as curious as he was. That's right, Xiao Wu. How did you do it? Feng Sun was pleasantly surprised. Duguyamo and Feng Sang hugged each other and burst into happy tears. Hearing this, they turned around and pricked up their ears. Feng Wu smiled. I used my mental power. That was all. I don't believe you, Feng Sang protested. We tried that method as well, but it wasn't quick or comprehensive enough. Plus, it drains your spiritual essence very quickly. It doesn't work. Feng Wu chuckled. Have you forgotten what I am? What are you? I'm a medicine refiner. Feng Wu shrugged. Medicine refiners are experts in the wood element, and they can communicate much better with plant spirits. I didn't use my mental power to discern the flower. I diagnosed it. Diagnose. Everyone was shocked. That method had never occurred to them. Feng Wu smiled. Yes, diagnose. If four-leaf flowers are the norm, is the only three-leaf flower mutation? If it is, then I can detect it. Chapter 1940, Untitled. Chapter 1940, Untitled. So I diagnosed the old tree the way I was a human being. As expected, I found an area that was sick. Feng Wu pointed at a horizontal branch in the northeast. It was on that branch, so I was able to cross all the other branches off the list. Everyone was astonished. Was that even possible? It was true. They had never thought of such a way. Even the Black Robe Ghost King was hearing it for the first time, let alone Duguyamo, Feng Sun, and the others. It was such a novel idea that they all stared at Feng Wu. Feng Wu went on smiling. After I confirmed the branch, I could exclude 90% of the flowers, and I was able to focus on one area. But it's a long branch. I wouldn't have enough time to scan it from one end to the other. So, Feng Wu smiled. I talked to the plant spirit. I told the three-leaf flower that if it could tell me where it was, I would treat it. You can talk to the plant spirit. The Black Robe Ghost King looked at Feng Wu in amazement. Feng Wu grinned. Of course. Everyone else found it incredible, but Feng Wu didn't say anything else. Because she really could do it. Because she still had a card up her sleeve, the fairy in her mind. The fairy had given her the 12 trials of love, which were getting harder and harder. The fairy was worried that Feng Wu would complain, so had hidden away. Feng Wu usually ignored her, but the fairy was useful now, so she had dragged her out. The three-leaf flower lay quietly in Feng Wu's palm. Just like that, I found it. It tried to hide from me, but where could it go? Feng Wu smiled at the Ghost King. Have we passed the trial? The Ghost King stared at Feng Wu with a cold look in his eyes. He had thought that the girl had just been full of hot air when she said that she would lead the survival team to success, but he didn't expect that the girl could pass 2 trials in a row. She had surprised him twice. She really was an amazing girl. Do you really want to win? He stared at Feng Wu. Feng Wu returned his stare. The Ghost King narrowed his eyes. No one had been able to stay so calm in front of him before. Even the girl in the chosen team isn't as level-headed as you. The Black Robe Ghost King suddenly chuckled. Interesting. Very interesting. I want to live, Feng Wu said seriously. Good. The Ghost King looked at Feng Wu, sensing her vitality and her desire to live. He looked into the distance and seemed to be lost in thought. If I'd been like you back then, I wouldn't have. Forget it. The Ghost King glanced at Feng Wu. Go ahead. If you can pass the next test, I'll tell you a secret. After that, he slowly disappeared into thin air. A staircase was lowered down for them. Wow, stairs. Did we finally pass the 2nd floor? This is great. We survived. We're so lucky to have Feng Wu here. Feng Sun rolled his eyes at Feng Sang and Duguyamo. I told you already. Xiao Wu can always come up with a way. Do you see that now? Chapter 1941, Untitled. Chapter 1941, Untitled. Feng Sang said, I didn't say that she couldn't do it. Duguyamo said, that's right. We were just worried. Feng Sang and Duguyamo looked at each other. Feng Wu had saved their skin at the last moment twice already, and they had no reason to doubt her anymore. Now, let's go to the next floor. We'll live once we get all the way up to the 7th floor. Feng Sun was quite excited. Feng Wu was about to throw away the flower, but, hey, what are you doing? The fairy stared at Feng Wu and snapped. That's good stuff. How can you throw it away? Feng Wu was confused. Isn't a mutated flower? The fairy asked. What do you think of the abnormal flame? Feng Wu said, good, of course. The fairy asked, what about a mutated flower? Feng Wu said, are you saying that it's useful? Do you know how that old tree procreates? Asked the fairy. Ow, it doesn't have any seeds. It uses flowers. And of the millions of flowers. The fairy looked at Feng Wu in resignation. Only the 3-leaf flower is the seed, and the rest are all ordinary flowers. Feng Wu, the fairy said, even the black-robed ghost king doesn't know that. Plant it in the ring space before it dies. Feng Wu said, what's in it for me? The fairy stared at her in disbelief. Feng Wu asked, why are you looking at me like that? The fairy said, do you want to bring back your beautiful master or not? Feng Wu said, of course I do. I would trade my life for my master's in a heartbeat. The fairy asked, do you know what this tree can do then? Feng Wu said, what can it do? It's an ancient tongue tree, and there are few records of it because it has almost become extinct on the continent. Come to think of it, there's something about the plant in the anecdotes of the continent. Yes. Her eyes suddenly lit up. I remember. It can prolong life. It has the Tai wood spirit, which can prolong life. The fairy nodded. That's right. It could do that. Your beautiful master has been unconscious for ages. He's weak. If you have an ancient tongue tree, which can provide him with constant Tai wood spiritual energy, I'll plant it. I'll plant it now. Feng Wu was over the moon. She would stop at nothing to help her beautiful master. Little Phoenix, who had been silent until now, said excitedly, I never knew that there was still an ancient tongue tree on the continent. The only one that's over 10,000 years old can procreate and have 3-leaf flowers. We hit the jackpot this time. Just then, Feng Sun, who was climbing the stairs, turned to look at Feng Wu. Xiao Wu, let's go. We don't have much time left. All right, I'll be right there. Feng Wu waved at Feng Sun. She then asked the fairy, so I just plant it. Is that it? Of course not. The fairy rolled her eyes at Feng Wu. It requires a lot of preparation. Otherwise, why would people call it the last resort to save one's life? Feng Wu asked, what do I need to prepare? Chapter 1942, Untitled. Chapter 1942, Untitled. You'll need a Water Dragon Ball and Fire Dragon Ball to build a foundation, and for endless energy flow, you'll need the essence of Earth. With the support of the Tai wood spirit, the next time your beautiful master wakes up, it'll be for much longer. I'll do it. Feng Wu clenched her fists. Of course I'll do it. But what are Water Dragon Ball, Fire Dragon Ball, and the essence of Earth? Feng Wu was confused. I don't know about other places, but since there's an ancient tongue tree on the 2nd floor, it means that you must be able to find those 3 on the next few floors, because they always come together. Little Phoenix looked at Feng Wu in excitement. You have to pass the next few trials. We have to find those things. Feng Wu said, all right. If they're not there, I'll make that black-robed ghost king spit them out. The thought of having her beautiful master awake all the time and by her side made Feng Wu fearless. Xiao Wu? Xiao Wu? Feng Sun called her anxiously. Feng Wu said, I'm coming. The 3rd floor. When everyone left the last step, whoosh. The scene changed so fast that it made them dizzy. When they looked up, they saw that they were on a beach. The sky was as blue as the sea below. The beach had fine sand, and the air smelled of coconut. The coastline seemed to stretch endlessly into the distance. Wait, Feng Wu's eyes widened. It was a white beach. Were they here on vacation? If there were some benches and shade on the beach, it really would be a vacation. Are we at the seaside now? Duguyamo was amazed. Feng Sang stared at Feng Wu. You said earlier that the trials would be in the sequence of the 5 elements. The first 2 were metal and wood, and now we have water. You were right. She couldn't understand how Feng Wu could guess it when they were on the 1st floor, and she herself only realized it now. How could Feng Wu be so much better? What are we supposed to do for this level? Feng Sun looked around curiously. But apart from a boat, there was nothing. Just then, roar. A terrifying roar made all of them jump. It was a gigantic sea dragon. The creature was hundreds of meters long, and it looked down at them with cold eyes. There was no emotion in them, and the temperature plummeted. Whoosh! A shadow came down from above and landed on the dragon. They let out a breath of relief when they saw the face, because it was a familiar one. It's the black-robed Ghost King. They were worried that he wouldn't show up. Kiddo, you're very bold to come here. I bet that you'll lose this one. The Ghost King seemed to get along better with them by quarreling. If one were to take a closer look, at first, the Ghost King was indifferent and even hostile toward Feng Wu, because he knew that Feng Wu was on the White Fairy's side, and he wasn't on friendly terms with the White Fairy. But after the first 2 floors, the Ghost King's impression of Feng Wu had changed, and even he didn't notice that he was appearing more and more often. Chapter 1943. Chapter 1943, Untitled. No, I'm going to win. Feng Wu was as confident as ever. Haha, I like how confident you are. Good, said the Ghost King. The trial for this floor is easy. Do you see this little guy? He pointed at the huge sea dragon that was hundreds of meters long. The little guy doesn't want to take lives on its own, but it has a great appetite. What should we do? He smiled at the others. So, you're going to feed it today. Feng Wu. Gosh, the sea dragon was hundreds of meters long. How much could it eat? Feng Wu said. To what extent? The Ghost King smiled at Feng Wu. Until it doesn't want to eat anymore. Feng Wu said. How much time do we have? The black-robed Ghost King said, the same as the first 2 floors. Feng Wu said, it eats anything, does it? The black-robed Ghost King rubbed his chin and chuckled. Of course not. Come to think of it, my little dragon is very picky, aren't you? He patted the sea dragon's head. The sea dragon rubbed its head against the Ghost King in an affectionate way. Feng Wu asked, what is it like to eat? The Ghost King pointed at the sea below. It eats most seafood, but for shellfish, you need to remove the shell before feeding it. My little guy's stomach has been weak recently and can't take anything hard. Feng Wu didn't know what to say. Feng Wu said, shellfish has very little edible parts. The Ghost King gave her a teasing look. I trust you can do it, kiddo. Feng Wu said, it's doable, as long as you promise me something. It's doable. Feng Sun and the others all gave Feng Wu strange looks. How could it be doable? The sea dragon was hundreds of meters long. How big an appetite would it have? They still didn't know how much food they could find in the sea, but she had already agreed. The Ghost King was curious. What do you want? The water dragon ball, Feng Wu said matter-of-factly. Without it, we can't catch that much seafood, and we won't be able to finish the task. If that happens, we'll die, but Feng Wu smiled at the sea dragon. But this pregnant sea dragon will also have a very difficult time. The sea dragon stared at Feng Wu. The black-robed Ghost King narrowed his eyes as well. Feng Sun and the others stared at Feng Wu in amazement. Are you saying that the dragon is pregnant? Is it storing food for the labor? Is it going to need a lot of seafood? I heard that sea dragons can eat a lot of things and digest them slowly. That means we'll be filling a bottomless pit. Everyone's mouths fell open. Feng Wu was the only one who was still smiling. With the water dragon ball, I can promise you that I'll get the food for you. The sea dragon stared at Feng Wu. It had a water dragon ball, but that was the essence of its life. It couldn't just give it away. Feng Wu chuckled. If we fail, you'll still have the water dragon ball. Chapter 1944. Chapter 1944, Untitled. Feng Wu then turned to the black-robed Ghost King. What do you think? Before, the Ghost King wouldn't even consider the request. He wouldn't have even looked at her, because he thought too little of her. After the 2 trials, his attitude toward Feng Wu had changed a little. He patted the dragon's head. Give it to her. The sea dragon stared at him in astonishment. Was its master taking sides? He no longer indulged it like he used to. Master, the sea dragon was about to speak when the Ghost King gave it a stern look. The dragon knew very well that its master never took no for an answer. Despite its unwillingness, the sea dragon had to spit out the translucent water dragon ball, and the ball shot toward Feng Wu. Feng Wu caught it and held it in her hand. The Ghost King reminded her, "Kiddo, if you can't finish the task, not only do you have to return the ball, all of you will die." Feng Wu nodded. "I know." The sea dragon threw a dirty look at Feng Wu, patted its stomach, and left with the Ghost King. Feng Sun and the others ran to her side as soon as the pair left. Feng Sun sounded distressed when he said, "Xiao Wu, this is an impossible task. How could you agree to it?" Dugi Yamo chimed in. "If the sea dragon wasn't pregnant, we might be able to fill its stomach if we tried, but it's pregnant." Feng Yuan said, "Feng Wu, do you know how big a pregnancy dragon's appetite is? There's a reason that they're called devouring sea beasts." Feng Sang said, "Have you forgotten who you are just because we praised you a little? We can't fill the stomach of a hungry, pregnant sea dragon. It's impossible." Jun Linyan was worried as well. "And it's so picky. We need to remove the shells. What are they thinking?" Feng Sang said, "You took the task, you finish it. I won't be a part of it." Feng Wu had been a hero a moment ago, but everyone seemed to have turned their backs on her. Feng Wu glanced at Feng Sang. "I took the task, I finish it, and you won't be a part of it? Fine. Go tell the Ghost King that you want a different task. Go ahead." Feng Sang immediately recoiled. She couldn't even look up when the Ghost King showed up. Of course, she didn't dare to negotiate with him. She didn't have a death wish. Feng Wu glanced at them. "Do you think that the Ghost King came up with that task on the spot?" She smirked. "No. In fact, all the past survival teams have done these tasks before. It's like having the students take the same test every year. You're so naive if you think you can just change the questions. Who do you think you are? You don't get to pick your tasks with the black-robed Ghost King." The crowd was speechless. Up on the clouds, the black-robed Ghost King sat on the sea dragon's back and looked very relaxed. "She's good, isn't she?" He smiled at the sea dragon. The dragon gritted its teeth. "No, she wasn't good at all." "Well, she's all right, I guess," said the dragon. The black-robed Ghost King said, "She's very interesting. She's wise, whimsical, and can think about and solve problems in unique ways. And she knows how to go with the flow. She's so young, but her thinking is more comprehensive than anyone else's. Isn't she amazing?" Chapter 1945, Untitled. Chapter 1945, Untitled. The sea dragon gritted its teeth. She didn't sound interesting at all. It wanted to kill everyone who tried to steal its master away. "Huh, she's so interesting." The black-robed Ghost King gloated. "If she really can lead the survival team to victory, well, that'll be a first. Come, let's have a look at the chosen team." After Feng Wu scolded them, Feng Sun and the others lowered their heads without saying a word. Feng Wu said, "Time is of the essence here. Let's start fishing." Feng Sang and the others didn't like the idea, but they had to admit that Feng Wu was right. "We still have some hope if we work hard, but if we don't, we'll all die," Feng Wu said decisively. They had no choice but to depend on the little hope that they had. They sailed out. The fishing boat was 100 meters long, and they looked at one another in bewilderment. Seeing the hopeless looks on their faces, Feng Wu sighed in resignation. "You guys catch as many as you can, and I'll make up the rest of it. Okay?" Everyone looked at Feng Wu in disbelief. Feng Sang said, "You'll make up the rest of it? With what?" Dugi Yamo took Feng Wu's hand and sounded pleasantly surprised. "You know what to do, don't you? Feng Wu, you figured it out." Feng Wu didn't speak. Dugi Yamo said excitedly, "Feng Sang, have you forgotten? It was the same with the first 2 floors. She was always very confident, and in fact, she was always correct. So this time." Dugi Yamo smiled at Feng Wu. "I know you're the best. I believe you." Feng Wu didn't know what to say. Dugi Yamo said, "I have the water attribute, so I'll go in first." After that, she swiftly jumped into the water. Feng Sang looked suspiciously at Feng Wu. Feng Wu said, "Stop looking at me. Even if I have cards up my sleeves, I won't tell you." Feng Sang was amazed. So, Duguyama was right. You figured it out. If that was the case, no one would die. Feng Wu shrugged and didn't give any answer. Feng Sang said, "All right, it's like what you said. We'll do what we can, and you'll make up the rest." After that, she jumped into the water as well. Feng Sun looked at Feng Wu and hesitated. He didn't have the water attribute, and naturally was intimidated by the sea. "Xiao Wu, you really?" Before Feng Sun could ask the question, Feng Wu chuckled. "I know what to do, so just trust me, okay?" "All right." Jun Linyan jumped out of nowhere and patted Feng Wu's shoulder. "No matter what you do, I'll always trust you." Feng Sun narrowed his eyes and kept his gaze on Jun Linyan. The look gave Jun Linyan the creeps. Before he could ask, Feng Sun was dragging him away. "Hey, Feng Sun, what are you doing? Get over here." Feng Sun pulled Jun Linyan to the side. Jun Linyan looked innocently at Feng Sun. Feng Sun asked, "Do you have a crush on her?" Jun Linyan nodded repeatedly. "Of course. She's my goddess and the only woman I want to marry." Feng Sun asked, "You're still thinking that way when you know about her relationship with Boss Jun?" Jun Linyan asked innocently. "Are Boss Jun and Miss Feng Wu really what you say they are? Why don't I see it?" Feng Sun asked, "Why do you say that?" Chapter 1946, Untitled. Chapter 1946, Untitled. Jun Linyan said, "Look, when we talked about it earlier, Boss Jun said that Feng Wu had disappointed him. He didn't acknowledge his relationship with her." Feng Sun was rendered speechless. Jun Linyan said so he denied it. "That is to say, Miss Feng Wu is single now. Why can't I court her?" Feng Sun clenched his fists. Boss Jun really was the one to be blamed here. He just wouldn't give up on his ego and acknowledge her. As a result, Jun Linyan had the wrong impression. That's their relationship. You're not allowed to like Xiao Wu. "Why do you say that?" "Because she's my sister." Jun Linyan raised his eyebrows. "Hey, future brother-in-law, can I tell you something?" Feng Sun stared at Jun Linyan. "What future brother-in-law? Shut up already." Jun Linyan lowered his voice. What if she's the only woman I'll marry for as long as I live? There will be no concubines, no maids, and no women on the side. Miss Feng Wu will be the only woman I'll ever have. Will you marry her to me?" 1. Feng Sun didn't know what to say. That did sound nice. Jun Linyan said, "Boss Jun is so popular, and everyone likes him. Zhuo Qingwan is on the other end of the world, but Ranmil is right here." He then lowered his voice. "Ranmil may look like she's so pure and indifferent to Boss Jun, but from the way she behaves, she must be jealous of Feng Wu, don't you think?" Feng Sun gave it some thought and nodded. Jun Linyan said, "You see, wherever Boss Jun goes, trouble follows, and they're all directed at little Feng Wu. It's only just the beginning. Imagine doing it for a lifetime." Feng Sun didn't know what to say. Jun Linyan went on, "But look at me. I can swear to you that Xiao Wu is the only one I'll ever marry. If I look at another woman, you can chop this off?" Jun Linyan pointed at his private part. Feng Sun cleared his throat. Jun Linyan put up 3 fingers to make an oath. "I'll let her take charge of everything, from the property to the household affairs. After she marries me, she'll be the boss, and I'll be her subordinate. I'll do whatever she says." Feng Sun bit his lower lip. It just sounded more and more pleasant. Jun Linyan added, "If Boss Jun ever does something to upset Xiao Wu, do you think you can settle account for her?" "No, you can't. But you can with me. You've always pushed me around anyway. And if you want, you can punch me anytime. Brother Feng, you're more capable than me, and you can discipline me whenever you want. But with Boss Jun..." Feng Sun stared at Jun Linyan. Jun Linyan said, "So, future brother-in-law, you'll help me, right?" "No, I won't." Feng Sun smacked Jun Linyan on the head. "Stop trying to sabotage your brother's marriage. Do you have a death wish?" Rubbing his forehead, Jun Linyan mumbled, "But my brother doesn't like Xiao Wu." "What?" Feng Sun threw a dirty look at Jun Linyan. If Boss June didn't like her, he would never have done so many unusual things. He just doesn't show it. Feng Sun told the truth. Feng Sun, Jun Linyan, what are you doing there? We don't have much time left. Feng Wu stared at them. Chapter 1947. Chapter 1947, Untitled. Both of them had the fire attribute and couldn't go into the sea, so Feng Wu prepared 3 fishing rods for them. That included Xian Yi. I'm coming. Feng Sun ran over happily and saw the 3 rods. Wait, are those fishing rods? Feng Wu said, yes. Since you can't go in, you might as well fish from up here. Ahem. Feng Sun rubbed his chin and cleared his throat. Feng Wu asked, what's with that look on your face? Jun Linyan said, haha, Brother Feng has had issues with water since he was little. Anything aquatic will avoid him. He's never been able to catch anything with a fishing rod. You got him this for nothing. Feng Sun stared at him. As if you can catch anything. Xianyi said, shut up. Feng Wu asked, are the 3 of you all that bad? Feng Sun and Xian Yi cleared their throats while Jun Linyan gloated. I'm an expert at fishing. I'm great at it, ho-ho. Feng Wu handed him a fishing rod. Get over there and start fishing then. Jun Linyan looked at Feng Wu affectionately. My goddess, if I catch a lot of fish, will you be nicer to me? Feng Wu rolled her eyes at him. Jun Linyan said, all right. I'll stop talking. I'll get on with my work. As soon as he walked away, Feng Sun frowned. That boy in his tone. Feng Wu nodded. You don't say. Feng Sun glanced at Feng Wu as he played with the fishing rod. Feng Wu asked what? Feng Sun bit his lower lip and hesitated. Feng Wu said, if you have something to say, say it. Plus, if we lose on this floor, you'll never have a chance to say it. That made sense. Feng Sun said, I'll ask then. Feng Wu attached bait to the fishing rod, tossed the fishing line into the water, and said, ask away. Feng Sun said, tell me the truth then. Are you fond of Boss June or not? Feng Wu's hand jolted, and she nearly dropped the fishing rod. She turned around and gave Feng Sun a strange look. Feng Sun said, what's that look on your face? I'll change the question. Between Boss June and Jun Linyan, who would you choose? Feng Wu went on staring at him and found the question ridiculous. Feng Sun wiped his face. That's right. How can I ask such a question? Boss June is obviously so much better, and Jun Linyan is nothing in comparison. Of course you won't choose him. In fact, Feng Sun liked what Jun Linyan had said earlier. Feng Wu said, why do you think I'll choose Jun Linyan? Feng Sun said, what? Are you choosing Jun Linyan? Feng Wu was speechless. Why do I have to choose from that family? Feng Sun said, what do you mean? Feng Wu said, can't I like someone else? I'm not bound to the Jun family. Feng Sun jumped to his feet. Xiao Wu, are you in love with someone else? Have you changed your mind? Boss June likes you so much. Feng Wu said, what are you talking about? Since when does Jun Linyan like me? If he really likes me, he would have acknowledged our marriage engagement, and the others wouldn't have laughed at me. Feng Sun said, that's because of his personality. Feng Wu said, I don't care if he likes me or not. It doesn't matter now, because I've just realized that I'm fond of someone else. That you're tuning in to the Warrior Lore YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.